Ah, hello everybody. Sorry, a little late. I got everything ready. I thought I was ready. I hit start streaming, and then I thought about it for a second, and I was like, wait, why is YouTube not showing the stream yet? And I had like 20 seconds of stream on Twitch. I already deleted it, so you can't go see it. Not that it was anything, it was completely silent and just what you see now. But that was a little silly and awkward. Where's my model? Where am I? There we go. Hello. But yeah, that gave me a mini panic attack and had me laughing pretty hard. Hello, Arsham. But let's get to the display capture. There we go. And as usual, I'm shouting them out because they deserve it. They even commented on my last video, which is nice. One of them was Sacron left a comment on the last video. Apparently, they're working on a independent VN for this. They're gonna make a software one that's downloadable. Should be nice to see. Just something possibly a little cleaner and easier to deal with. Probably load faster. Because right now, this is literally loading the graphics from the Chinese server, which is probably why it's a little slow sometimes. But yeah, so as usual, I'm going to throw the link in chat for anyone who wants to also read these visual novels. They have Anti-Entropy and Durandal. Unfortunately, the Seven Swords one is not fully translated yet. As far as I know, it's not even fully released. You might have to jump through some hoops to try and find that one. I'm probably going to do it eventually. I don't know if I'll do it on stream. Probably not YouTube. But I'm probably going to have to use something like Google Translate or something. Just to get through the story of it to see it. But let's click on the link to the Durandal one. And I did figure out last time, if I click chapters, it'll load the music, I'm pretty sure. Is that how I got it to load the music last time? It could also just be that it's taking forever to load the music because, again, it's from the Chinese server. But we left off after they found a group of indigenous people in, I believe, what was described as that world's, like, Mexico. And apparently some of these indigenous people were being kind of led on by a group that called themselves gods, essentially. But they were just technologically advanced people, it seemed. Bianka beat the crap out of the somewhat brainwashed indigenous people who were trying to force their whole tribe to submit to their new gods. And they were going to be preparing for a festival. And as part of that festival, one of the characters they met, which... Can I get a picture of them in these or no? Nope, they don't show up in any of these previews. But one of the girls there that's supposed to be the embodiment of one of their gods that they worship was going to be doing a ritual to try and see a better future for their people. And it ended up with Bianka going into this cave to help with the ritual because they see Bianka, after defeating so many soldiers, they see her as an embodiment of the god of war because she's so strong. So only a divinity is allowed in this cave. They let her go in to help. And what she sees when she gets in there is the beginning of chapter 14. This should bring us back to chapter 14. If not, then I'll go back. I was looking at some of the images through this yesterday, so my position might be a little screwed up, but we'll hope not. But it was a bit of a bad cliffhanger, and yeah, let's hope that some happier stuff happens, because I was not in a good mood after the end of last stream. Yeah. We walked into the back of the cave, pulled aside the curtain for the ritual area, and saw her new friend in a pool of her own blood. Oh, that was a horrible cliffhanger to leave off on. Oh, last Friday hurt. But I know, if anyone remembers, my mouth, I had an allergic reaction last week, and it was getting really bad last Friday. My lips were bleeding and stuff. Oh, I'm better now. And let's hope the story gets better, because I kind of liked this character. This is what I was worried about for Alice. Thank God Alice got a better result. But yeah, let's go. The Valkyrie's head went blank. She wasn't overwhelmed by anger or surprise. She has been trained to discard all unnecessary thoughts to focus better on saving the lives of people in front of her. It's weak, but she still has a pulse. Oh God, please say they can save her. I might be able to save her. The tactical oxygen anesthesia kits I was carrying with me came in handy. All that's left is a blood transfusion, but before that I need to test her blood type. The Valkyrie relentlessly ran under the night sky. Come on. Her blood type. Tell me her blood type already, test strip. Rita or me would be fine. Please just tell me one of us is compatible. There's no one else but us who can withstand a blood transfusion for heart surgery. Please hurry. Even if there's a 1 in 100 chance of saving her, please tell me. This test turned teal. The Valkyrie let out a long exhale and her knees hit the floor of the ship's deck. The blood test strip displayed a brown color. 3 minutes passed, no change. 6 minutes passed, the result refuses to change. Typo. Type A and B blood types. Type A and B are blood types that cause agglutination. A person with type O blood can only accept blood from a type O donor. And unfortunately, neither Rita nor her are compatible with that blood type. This small blood test strip proved performing surgery will be impossible. The young Valkyrie realized that other than using the Abyss Flower, the divine key stored in HQ far away, there's no way she or anyone else from the Caledonia could save Akenal's life. The only thing the young Valkyrie do for her was to prepare a funeral. Aww. As requested by Tazumal-sama, I will proceed to read the last oracle of Akenal. God told me the 13th Baktun is the beginning of a new era. On the last day of the 12th Baktun, the world of God and man shall be completely separated. God will never bless you again. God will never curse you again. The future will be left to the natural cycle and order. But before that, God demanded a truly pure avatar living in this world were to come to live in his world. Everyone who I love from the bottom of my heart, please do not be angry, sad, or jealous. Ixtab has told me, by separating heaven from earth, our world will one day be able to be as splendid and bright as heaven. In the new era, through hard work, anyone will be able to create miracles on par with God. Oh, I'm gonna have to turn this down a bit, aren't I? Oh, it's fine right now, I guess. Maybe it's because it's just so shrill, the chirping, but it seems so much louder for me than the stream says it is. I had hope, and then they crushed it. The purest avatar of God has left this world and gone to the other side. Come on, let's go. I feel like he pulled a fast one on us. How ourselves feel about this doesn't really matter. At the very least, it seems the rest of the village is willing to earnestly go along with her oracle. There might have been a better way to end this, but we can't turn back in time. Otto would like to have a word with you. I agree. Let's get going. We're going south to the Federation. Maybe we'll be able to do something for her in this village. Rito can't bring herself to say anything. The Nakam is here. Wait a second. Kawak? I feel like I recognize that name. If that's the name of, like, a god. We must inform Kawak that Nakom is here immediately. I'm assuming Nakom is the god of war. I'm actually kind of curious to search that up. Nakom? Okay, that's definitely not what I'm looking at, is their differentiation. Okay, nope, this is totally something else. I look up God. Oh, that took a while to load. It is from this, right? I'm gonna wait for just... Yeah, that's from this. Now I have to turn down the music. That's a bit loud. Oh, it's Nakon. Okay, it's a slight mistranslation. Yeah, the Mayan god of war. And... that's not what I meant. Oh, I apparently clicked on it even though I missed. Cock. This is probably... Fuck. The rain god. Okay. I used to have a really big fascination with some of these old gods, and I looked into a lot of them. Oh. Tlaloc is also known as Tlaloc. That's interesting. I know that name too. What's up with these guys? Aren't they supposed to be a garrison from the Federation's army? Why are they running away? You must have left quite the impression on them yesterday. Well, that works in our favor. Looking at how they're panicking tells me they won't put up much of a resistance. Time to act like a pirate, Valkyrie. It's fine, most of the work is done already. It'll be easy. They're so afraid that just being direct will be enough. I am sorry to have made you wait, Nakom. Welcome to Tulum Fort. I am Kawak, person in charge of this place. I'm tempted to pronounce them differently, like the way they're supposed to be, but then again, they could have changed them on purpose. I have heard warriors of the Federation were disrespectful towards you the other day. Please allow me to sincerely apologize on their behalf. Huh? What was that? I can't believe what I'm hearing. Can you say it again? The other day, us, the Federation, were disrespectful. I sincerely apologize. Quite the sudden change of attitude, don't you think? You people sure were acting all high and mighty back in El Rey. Please forgive us. You are Nakom. No member of the Federation is allowed to be disrespectful towards a Nakom. Specifically? Why? That seems very specific, unless he means like towards a god. But they were disrespectful to the other god. I don't know. Oh no, Bianca, don't say this. Don't question the thing that's giving you your ability to push them around. What's this Nakom thing? Why am I a Nakom? Nakom means superhuman. They are heroes who stand far above the average person, who are loyal to this land and not to God in heaven. It's also the name of the god of war, so that doesn't quite make sense. I'm confused. The path to become a superhuman can be traversed by anyone. However, until you reach that level, you must display the utmost respect for those who already are superhuman. Huh. That's an interesting way to put it. They are the sea, and you are a grain of sand. No matter how much of a grain sand struggles, they will almost always be buried by the tide. We follow the teachings of the High Priestess. Please do not misunderstand us and think we only show this level of respect to you. I deeply apologize if we have offended you. Then, if I tell you to leave El Rey alone, will you do it? Yes, as long as the High Priestess does not oppose to your orders, we will treat your words as law. I don't think that's gonna happen. If you wish, from now on El Rey will be treated as an independent nation. And then what, you're gonna declare war? I've seen that before. That's something lots of people try to do. Very well, then I don't mind being a Nakom. Are my companions and the captain also considered Nakom? Yes, it is clear they all possess enormous prestige and power. Then that makes things easier. This Nakom wants you to arrange a meeting between me, my companions, and your High Priestess. Will that be possible? Of course, I will immediately send a messenger to El Castillo of Chichen Itza. How long will it take him to reach that castle? He runs until he switches with someone else at a relay point along the way. It will take a day and a half approximately. Running. Surprisingly primitive. Then the fact that there are relay points and routes means the roads are in good condition, correct? Yes, the Federation makes sure to maintain the roads in good condition every year. Perfect, then let's do the following. Bring us a capable guide and I'll teach him an easier and better method of traveling than running. You gonna make a wagon or something? The lines just make this so much funnier when he has like almost a neutral face with no eye. It looks so silly. Wow, I can't believe this. This is amazing. Long live the Nakom. Hey, Rita, is riding a bicycle really that fun? Yes, Bianca. Our guide is, for the first time in his life, experiencing a speed faster than when he's running with his feet. I see. I guess they don't have horses around here. Which is why he's excited as the bikers of a violent running tribe, making their engines roar at midnight. Violent running tribe? What's that? A group of people who like to drive bikes really fast. Delinquents? It's true there are delinquents among bike gangs, but that doesn't mean every bike lover is a bad person, Bianca. If we ever have a chance, I'd like to take you for a drive through the empty streets of Naples at night. Sure. Maybe one day. Sorry, I'm just not in the mood right now. It was really useless today. I couldn't stop her from hurting herself. I was only able to watch her die from blood loss. There should have been absolutely a better way to handle that. That's how life is, Bianca. You might know this already, but in the outskirts of Naples, there was once a settlement that was buried under volcanic ash in the year 79 AD. Its name was Pompeii. The victims of Pompeii tragedy had a chance to escape when the volcano began to erupt, but after the first earthquake passed, they chose to go back to their homes to protect their property without realizing the ash was getting closer with each passing moment. The thought of stealing from someone else didn't even cross their minds. They simply wanted to repair their broken houses and take whatever they could carry to a safer place. Regrettably, the world did not wait for them, and hundreds of pounds of volcanic ash fell upon the city in an instant. Probably more than that. Those unlucky people were buried deep in ash and never had the chance to use those properties they cared so much about again. Did they do the wrong thing? Back then, had anyone been able to know about volcanic activity and devise a plan to evacuate? The answer is of course no. No one is omnipotent. It's easy to criticize the past, using knowledge from the present, but no one living in the present can predict the future. I understand what you're trying to say, but I know. You don't have to say anything, Bianca. I know well. The tear on Rita's face. Because you have a pure and kind heart. Hey, what's up with you? Wipe off your tears, idiot. Bianca sure is cute. You're being super creepy right now. We've now passed Oxkutskab Station. We'll be arriving at Chichen Itza. Once we go through the forest, you can see up ahead. Is Chichen Itza a big city? I believe it is quite small compared to the large cities you all are used for. It takes approximately 3,000 steps to walk from one end to the other. Should be more or less similar in size to a It's not pronounced with C's. Ajaccio? I think? I think there's sound things on here, right? Nope. There's no thing to pronounce it. Dang it. Wikipedia, you have failed me. Whatever. I think nobody but you understands that comparison, archaeologist. What's Ajaccio, some rural town in Italy? No, it's the capital of Corsica in France. Oh, maybe it's not pronounced that way then if it's French. I'm not sure. Oh, I see. So Corsica is considered French territory, huh? History sure has its interesting twists and turns. That's the future to you, right? Yes, but once I know what the future is like, I can't help but wanting to change it. Do you dislike fatalism? That's one of the reasons, yes. But the most important one is knowing what to expect. For example, someone who learns flushing toilets exist can't go back to take a dump in a pit latrine like nothing happened, you know? That's an analogy. Oh my gosh. Couldn't you have come up with a better example? That reaction right there is exclusive to someone from a developed world. From the perspective of a non-developed world, you guys look impeccable. Even nobles rarely took baths in the 13th and 14th century in Europe. I'm sure you can't even imagine it. In my time, doctors didn't even know they needed to disinfect themselves before performing surgery. That era wasn't academic at all. If one were to collect all books made during that period, they wouldn't even fill a corner of the great library. And I wouldn't have been able to hear the beautiful melodies composed by Mozart and Beethoven had I not met, by chance, the future in this world. Humans are fundamentally greedy creatures. I think being honest with that desire is a key to live a good life. Don't you agree, guide? It'll probably take you several years to make your own bicycle using materials from here, but even so, you're willing to work hard for it, aren't you? Yes, what is it? Oops, I forgot he can't understand us if no one is translating for him. Good job, Shakespeare. More the loud music. This one's even louder. How much do I have to turn down the music? Jeez. Wow, what a tall temple. Is it a historical building? Mr. Guide, I need to freaking translate these suffixes. I hate them. But looks like a Mayan temple. Yes, it is a 1,000-year-old building. 1,000 years? Yes, Nakums. Great Nakum. The High Priestess encourages the preservation of historical buildings. The interior of the temples have been refurbished not only to protect its structure, but also that they can be used as buildings. I'm sure you will understand once you go inside one of them. Who's in there? I feel like we're gonna somehow recognize them somewhat. Or that it's gonna be some like major historical figure in there. Well, that's a name I definitely recognize. This is the Kukulkan Temple, the most magnificent building in all of Chichen Itza. Kukulkan is the name of an ancient deity. It means feathered serpent. Yes, it's a great temple, we get it. What's the thing behind the temple? Looks like a big pile of iron to me. Big pile of iron, you say? Ah, you must be referring to the heart of Kukulkan. It's actually a meteorite. Oh, a meteorite. Looks similar to the Ayers Rock in Australia. Travelers from far away, that is the core of a star who fell from the sky that I purposely dug up from Chicxulub. And not gonna be translated. A priestess, forgive my rudeness. At ease. Guests from a distant land, your arrival has been foretold by the stars and birds. Very specific. Oh, there's another name I kind of recognize. I am Esther Zarathustra, High Priestess of the Peninsula Federation. You may address me as Esther. I believe you already know the Federation to a certain extent, but nonetheless, I would like you to personally introduce you to the country I founded with my own hands. The long count calendar of Yucatan is entering its 13th Baktun. If the long count calendar was created for the sake of a special day, then that would mean the Maya civilization has existed in this land for nearly 5,000 years. But as you can see, their tools are very primitive, and they lack the livestock necessary to cultivate land. When I first arrived, like many other wanderers did, I could not believe a civilization this strange could exist. But now I can say with confidence this wasn't a human problem. The Yucatan Peninsula is a geographically impoverished region. There is no livestock and ore cannot be mined. The nearest vein is far away in the Mexican plateau. People did their best with the tools they had, but their lives did not improve. If one did not know the date, one would think they had gone back to ancient times. I come from the era of Cyrus the Great. If you were to ask other wanderers for their opinion, they would claim 2,500 years in the past are ancient times. Eh? It's not that surprising, young lady. I mean, isn't your Spanish really good? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. When many wanderer can speak the same language, there is no need to keep around the language of the natives no one knows. But the natives communicate using hieroglyphs, don't they? Shouldn't you be the one following their custom? I don't think that's the name of a language, Bianca. The language of this place is too primitive. It is unable to express advanced technological vocabulary. It is easier to teach a wanderer Spanish than going through the trouble of using a translator. You discarded their language for that reason. Is it strange? Things without value must be discarded. That is what I learned from my father at the age of 10. Zarathustra. Yes, that is the name of my father. This federation I built with my own hands is based on the ideals my father passed down to me. Let us continue our talk inside the heart of Kukulkan. Oh, did they carve out the meteorite thing? You mean inside the meteorite? It sounds like they didn't turn them into a woman. This is supposed to be Zarathustra's daughter, sounds like. I mean, it's entirely possible in real life he didn't have a daughter. But I mean, the whole idea of this world is that it's alternate timelines crossing over. So, in some alternate timeline, he did. Why did you make such a fancy building inside a meteorite? No reason in particular. It was simply a mining site that no longer in use. It's a place full of mystery befitting to be Miss Esther's house. Thank you for the compliment, but rather than my house, this place is closer to being my laboratory. Oh boy, what is she doing? Oh, and what kind of experiments does the great High Priestess do? Before I begin my explanation, there's a question you must answer first, my honored guests. Do you know who my father is? Zarathustra, the Persian priest the Greeks called Zoroaster. Yes, my father was a priest too. I would like to make a small correction to your answer. Persia is a derogatory term used by the Greeks. Its proper name is Iran. Later generations paint him as the person who started Zoroastrianism and unified the many multi-ethnic groups in Iran. I have heard that from many wanderer. However, there seems to be a misunderstanding. Do you know anything else? Avesta is a religious text with the purpose of reaching enlightenment. But unfortunately, 2/3 of it were burned by Alexander the Great. My father had not felt bad about that. Why? Because my father never made such scripture in the first place. And according to what I've heard these days, Zoroastrianism has taken a form very different from what was originally intended to be. Does that have any relationship to the experiment you mentioned earlier? You are correct, Captain. And it is deeply connected to the legend of the Serpent King as well. Please sit, let us take our time to get to know each other. Whoa, that was a roller coaster of a chapter. Also, I really hope the music kind of quiets a little bit. Let's see. Once upon a time, Iran had a ruler known as the Serpent King. His name was Zahak. He used to be a prince from a remote frontier tribe before taking the throne. Zahak was a small and slender but healthy man. Contrary to what his appearance would suggest, he was a curious and kind man at heart. One day, Zahak fell down a cliff during a hunt and met a witch who called herself Grey Serpent. This is a way to switch up some ancient history and mythology. Oh no. Oh no. The witch kissed the prince's shoulders and his broken legs were healed. Rather, it would be correct to say they were stronger than before. The prince was overjoyed and asked the witch what she would like in return. Grey Serpent simply smiled and told the prince, "O future king of kings, your thanks are more than enough, for you will leave the realm of man and bring joy to us all." Back then, Zahak was unaware of what kind of changes were occurring inside of him. The prince's father, Murdis, would always go out for a stroll at night in the palace's gardens. The king was surrounded by flowers and admiring the moon when the prince arrived, excited to tell him what had happened to him. "My dear son, what happened to you? You have such a scary look on your face," the puzzled old man asked to his only son. But Zahak did not answer. For some reason, the sight of his father wearing a crown and holding a scepter made him feel unusually hungry. His shoulders started to tingle so badly, he began to scratch them with his hands, and then a serpent's head came out from each shoulder. The prince froze while the serpents, like an arrow, headed straight for the king's neck and bit him. The confused Zahak composed himself, took out his sword and slashed the serpents, but after cutting their heads, another one would grow from his shoulders. Meanwhile, the king was poisoned from the serpents and had bubbles coming out from his mouth. Zahak could no longer endure his hunger, and using his sword he cut his father's head and fed his brain to the serpents. That was the moment he became the horrifying Serpent King. Afterwards, Zahak ordered his subjects to bring him a criminal each night, and he fed their brains to the serpent. Soon after there were no more criminals. To escape from his guilt, Zahak waged war against the other tribes, defeated them and put them on trial. And of course, he cut off the heads of those he found guilty. The Serpent King was no longer that small and weak prince who once died during a hunt. He could tear apart his enemies with his bare hands. His skin was so hard it could not be harmed by any weapon. The Serpent King's army continued to win battle after battle. He not only unified the tribes, but took down the dynasty and became known as the King of Kings, the world's supreme ruler. Then the King of Kings put in place strict laws in his country. Every day someone will be sentenced to death, all so he could feed their brain without remorse. And so hundreds of years passed by. The Serpent King became old, his ways of governing no longer fitted the current era, and he became increasingly more violent. That was when, finally, a hero appeared. The hero led a subjugation force against Zahak. However, Zahak was immortal. Even after the hero cut off his head, the serpents continued to live and control his body. "You damned fools. I've united our nation, destroyed our enemies, killed all the criminals, and sentenced corrupt officers to death. And this is how you repay your debt to me. I suppose your ancestors never told you why I'm called the Serpent King." In that moment, that witch Grey Serpent showed herself. Ah, poor King Zahak, you made a grave mistake in the most crucial part. That is why you arrived at this pitiful ending, the witch said with a sad tone. Humanity exists to be surpassed. It's The kind of existence that would make one be ashamed of what they used to be once one transcends their own humanity. I gave you a chance to stop being an animal and become human, but you chose to remain an animal. Revolutionaries, I speak of the future. The soul does not respect the human flesh. Our instincts are like the impure flow of river. Only a sea, an existence that transcends rivers and lakes, can accept all impurities without losing itself. We've heard this a few times. We've heard that exact saying a few times. O sad King Zahak, you destroyed your own soul in an attempt to surpass humanity. I thought if your soul were to look down upon your body, you would be able to leave the shackles of instincts behind. But in truth, your soul was as disgraceful as your body. O pitiful King Zahak, your soul refused to understand your flesh, so the flesh was dragged away by desire to an abyss. The serpents on your shoulders never desired human brains. All they wished was to help you in becoming a king as soon as possible. Have you not noticed? The wisdom of the brains you ate became a part of you. It is why you became such a strong ruler and an excellent criminal. I called you the future King of Kings, but alas, it seems you did not understand anything at all. Those serpents were only fulfilling your basic desires of the flesh. O foolish King Zahak, life is a deal you can't take back, and you didn't even know what you were trading. I gave you the potential to surpass humanity, and you wasted it playing house. Zahak, you have no longer the potential to surpass humanity. Let us end this deal here. You are a rare specimen, but you are not the superhuman my lord wanted. Saying that, the witch threw a dart and stabbed Zahak's chest. The former King of Kings made a loud sound as his body hit the ground. The serpents on his shoulders withered and died. The witch then began to speak of the sacrifice that took place before their eyes to the confused crowd. That is the story of the Serpent King my father taught me. Until the age of 15, I thought it was simply a baseless legend. But Esther, I know this is sudden, but this might be the last time I'll be able to talk to you. Our place in the war has changed drastically. The King's army, the Immortals, fell prey to an ambush by the Sase. The King is probably already. The army has no leader right now, and Prince Cambyses is far away in Babylonia. As High Priest, I must go to the front lines and take charge of the army in place of the missing king. There's no guarantee I'll come back alive. That's why I'm going to give you these two things. I'm sure they'll help you in times of need. The first one is this drug. If you need strength to fight, remove the cover and pierce your skin with the needle. Excuse me? This was the past? Was she born in this world then? She's not from another world, but from this mixed up world? You will then gain the strength of the legendary Serpent King. Serpent King? Yes, the Serpent King. That legend is not nonsense. The king and me once met that grey serpent which we got this drug from. But I'm aware that this power is dangerous. This is a way of becoming a superhuman, but it's the worst of them all. Which is why I also want to give you this other thing. Oh, that's a genius device. It's a transfer device left behind by the previous civilization. If you use it, you'll be able to go back to your former life. My former life? What do you mean? Oh gosh, who is she? Who is she? She has to be someone else. They really like using this song. Listen, Esther, I'm not your real father. Your mother didn't die during childbirth either. I met you for the first time in the den of that gray serpent witch. What? It happened long ago, when the king was just a prince and I was a nameless naturalist. In one of our travels, we found a clue that led us to the legendary witch, Grey Serpent. We who were fearless explorers pretended to be believers and made contact with her. Then we assassinated her. Grey Serpent had many magic tools in her den. Among them, there was a machine that gave birth to you. Oh. Machine? I was artificially made. That I don't know. The machine was special. At the time we couldn't read any of the letters, but it was clear to us it was counting down to something. I, who didn't have the responsibility of seeing the world as a prince, the king had, stayed behind in Grey Serpent's den to study her magic. 20 years passed by. The magic tools left by the witch were certainly impressive, but aside from a few words, I couldn't understand much of her strange language. When I was about to give up due to my lack of progress, the evening of an early summer, the countdown of that machine finally reached 0. The cover of the machine opened up like a flower, spreading its petals, and a pleasant cold breeze touched my feet. That was the moment you were born, Esther. Raising you gave new purpose to my life. I was even able to take a peek at the mystery behind God, magic. I suspect you were a kid who was taken away from the hands of time by that machine, Grey Serpent had. Just like the many witches and sages of the past, you were capable of naturally reading their strange language. I wasn't able to understand that language due to reaching enlightenment, and I didn't build our religion. They were all things I learned from you before you arrived. Thanks to your birth, I learned of the timeless will of an ancient civilization. Thanks to your birth, I learned the concept and value of a superhuman. So their concept of a superhuman is essentially the idea of mantises. It's based on the knowledge of the previous era. And so the name Nakom, associating them with the gods of war, was just a convenient translation then, probably. Thanks to your birth, I learned what the opposite gods are competing for. Esther, child of the stars, you are a genuine son of God. Even if this Sase slaughter us all, you must survive at all costs. But Father, let me say again, no matter what happens to me, to someone else, or even the country, you must survive at all costs. In case of emergency, use this transfer device called Genius. It will let you sail beyond time and space, beyond the sea of mystery, and take you to the world of light, gifted by the gods. Because that is the place you were originally from. I want to see her again and see if I recognize her at all. Genius, you said. Could it be? High Priestess Esther, by originally, you mean you were a resident of this world? No, that was merely what my father believed. When the Sase made their way to the castle, I destroyed all his research and activated the genius. The world around me was distorted at an incredible speed, and I began to look for the world of light my father talked about. But what awaited me was an endless abyss devoid of everything. The fractal factor. Even with my eyes closed, I would still see a crack in space. Even with my ears blocked, I would still hear the soft whispers of the stars. I haven't seen this fractal in a while. I love fractals, they're so cool. Even with my lips sealed, I would still feel an iron-like bitterness taste in my mouth. Even with my breath held, I would still feel as if my throat burned by fiery fire and smoke. Even after drawing a mandala, I would still feel pain in my fingertips as if they were burning. A moment outside the abyss felt like thousands of years inside of it. Space and time lost all meaning. Without a path nor a compass to follow, I was a cracked ego drifting in the void. My body, my soul, my nerves, my brain, my blood, my heart. It felt like every piece of me was screaming in agony, unable to work properly. I think this is kind of like the first time they've told us what it's like for a human to be in imaginary space. Like an ordinary human. I would assume she's an ordinary human anyway. Could be wrong. There was no world of light after all. Eternity, infinity, something that keeps people alive forever. It was hell itself. When I got used to the suffering and my body, soul, and mind became one again, I finally understood the truth behind this endless cycle. This endless abyss. It was not a truth one can see with their eyes, with their heart. That was the heart of a devil, an equation buried by the gods of light. I shall end my tale here. The night is upon us, the breeze gets colder, and people enter their deepest dream. No pain of sentiment. O soul, let us wash away your trivial disgrace, immortality. Only then everyone will be able to greet the light of day once again. Let yourself be devoured by me, become one with me in death, and sleep forever inside my soul. So she did use the needle. And it is white and pink, so it looks like it is some form of variation of like Honkai. Makes sense, it's from Grey Serpent. There is only room for one superhuman in this husk that drifts beyond the endlessness and nothingness. And I guess that's probably how she survived the imaginary space, is injecting herself with that needle. Jeez, was that only 2 chapters we've read so far? Souls taste like honey. The insides of a honeybee cannot contain the soul of a much bigger plant, so the honeybee turns it into sweeter honey. That said, nectar taken straight from a fresh flower is also delicious. Now then, the cute children or the elegant adults? Which one should I devour first? Oh boy. You have threatened the life of someone important to her. She's not gonna be happy. I won't let you lay a finger on Miss Bianka. Oh my, you breathed a considerable amount of anesthetic gas, yet you are able to stand up. Well, it matters not. You will not be able to save your precious Bianka with that wobbling body of yours. What is with poor Rita getting poisoned by gas? I swear this has happened to her multiple times now that I've seen it. We've seen it once in like... What is it? I guess technically we haven't seen it in the replay through yet, but it's like chapter 13, 14, I think one of those. I think it happened another time too. It's happened here. You might not know, but weapons that are sharp enough don't need much power behind them to kill someone. Oh, she's using the sword. This cannot be. You must be surprised. But I told you, didn't I? I told you I won't let you lay a finger on Miss Bianka. Goodbye, second Serpent King. Why am I? It's cold. My head feels heavy. I can feel something. So warm. Smells good. Is Rita holding her? So despite never having a mother, Bianca's always kind of dreamed of having one. Aww. Mom. Wait. Why am I sleeping? Good morning, Bianca. Did you sleep well? Rita, what happened to me? Why am I here? How long was I asleep? Chichen Itza's castle, specifically the backyard of the Chicxulub meteorite building. Approximately 1 hour ago, we fell for a trap and inhaled a large amount of anesthetic gas. You're still growing up. It's no surprise. It would take you more time to recover. What? Anesthetic gas? And everyone else? Are the captain and the rest okay? What the heck is that? Don't worry, Ndusama is treating them nearby, using equipment left by the High Priestess. They should be waking up in about 30 minutes. Oh, doo-doo, okay. Sorry for the chair. Trying to get comfortable. Dude, that sword, since when has she been with us? Since this morning, after recovering 2 of its gems. The great... God damn it. Durandal became able to manipulate the air distribution around itself to hide in plain sight. What? So it's like optical camouflage? Yes, Schrodinger and I persuaded Durandal into using that ability to become our trump card. Why didn't you tell me something so important, idiot? My apologies, Miss Bianca. However, it was a necessary thing to do to reduce the risk of a potential enemy finding out about our strategy. So it wasn't only you who didn't. Yeah, I get it. I'm sure it would be written all over my face if I knew. So, who attacked us anyway? Some rebel faction? No, it was the High Priestess herself, Miss Bianca. Huh? Basically, being friendly and inviting us to her place was all an act to get us into a closed room and look for a chance to put us to sleep. I suspect that's the case. From what I could gather, I think she was planning to eat us to gain our power. Just like the legendary Serpent King once did. These are some notes she left behind. I'll translate them for you. And then weird Mayan date that I don't understand. I ended up using the power of the serpent. I had no choice. These barbarians would not listen to anything but force. Oh, she used it after she got here. Not in imaginary space. Fortunately, they have now completely submitted to me. I will have plenty of time to master this power. Oh, superhuman, you have bestowed upon us, ordinary people, the secrets of victory and goodness. People have begun to imitate your values, so that you may not be saddened or disillusioned by us. We will walk the path of truth and dedicate ourselves. The superhuman. That sounds good. I have not eaten a brain in 40 days. There have not been any changes to my physical condition so far. Ingesting volunteers does seem to work in suppressing the desire of the serpent. I must continue to spread my faith so that it may reach more people. Oh boy. So she didn't follow the beliefs of her father, she followed the beliefs of the Serpent King. I have received report of rebellion in the Highlands. I ate the brain of the reporter to verify the truth. It was a lie, but just in case, I should change the officers at the border regularly. That's a way to learn truth. A new generation has been born into our faith. It is necessary to make a tour around the newly acquired lands and solidify the perception of the people at the frontiers. I do not seem to age like a normal person. I wonder if it is due to the serpent. It has been several years since the last time I ate a brain. Patrol guards picked up a dying old man who was stung by a jellyfish. He called himself the painter Matisse. I hope I can gain an artistic sense from him. Painter Matisse. Henry Matisse. Well, apparently she ate him. Rest in peace. The brain of that old man was more dangerous than hallucinogenic mushrooms and mandrake. I've begun painting the sun green and the sea pink. I must be more careful. I cannot let my believers think the High Priestess has gone crazy. However, I can use this to spread my faith even further. She started painting like a famous painter that uses a bigger variety of colors for different, more interesting effects to the paintings, and now she's like, dang it, people are gonna think I'm crazy. There are two types of freedom in our faith. The freedom of an ordinary person and the freedom of a superhuman. They are completely different. The goal of an ordinary person is to become a superhuman. An ordinary person cannot question the acts of a superhuman. That's what it says. Thanks to our instructions, the Maya won't see us as their enemy, even though we killed their high priestess. Oh, I totally thought you scared off the believers. From their point of view, a battle between the Kom is something sacred, and they must accept the outcome regardless of who is victorious. Though they did ask for one of us to stay behind to be the next high priest. Oh, that'd be dangerous. If Bishop Otto was here, we could throw him at them. If it were him, he'd be able to handle the affairs of this place during tea time. That reminds me, unlike the other Valkyries, you don't seem to be too scared of the bishop, Miss Bianca. Did something interesting happen between you two? He's been my personal doctor since the time I woke up in the hospital. He asked me to treat him like any other doctor, so that's what I did. Actually, since I joined HQ, I never really understood why the other Valkyries act cautious when they're around him. Is he really that much of a scary person? I suppose everyone is not as lucky as you. Many people see the bishop as someone who stands above the clouds and feel they shouldn't get too involved with him. Alright, I'm feeling better now. It's time to... Oh. Okay, I thought it was going to be an earthquake, not a giant explosion. What the hell? Someone touch a machine they shouldn't have. What is it now? Something is coming from the bottom of the lake. What? Excuse me? Excuse me? An old dragon? Excuse me? This is Honkai, not some fantasy game. What? Is that supposed to be like a Honkai beast or something? I am so confused. Oh my gosh, my French will be so bad. I'm just gonna read the English translations. Sovereign people come forth. Tyrants go down to your graves. Wait, excuse me, what? You have my most sincere thanks for freeing me, ladies. I am Bertrand, Colonel of the Eastern Expedition Force of France. Attention, salute. I love it. I mean, it makes sense that it's all over the place, right? This isn't a real world. This is supposed to be a world that's intersecting of timelines. People who've fallen out of time and just met up in this weird, strange world that doesn't make sense. It makes sense that it makes sense that it doesn't make sense, I guess, is what I'm saying. But it's still just so weird. Because as far as we know, other than Honkai, there has been no, like, monsters and beasts anywhere. Honkai are the great fantasy beasts. Colonel, Expedition Force, France. What is this guy talking about? Actually, who are you? How can you talk? Right. I no longer look like a human, don't I? Apologies. I'm sure you see it happen often. An old man deludes himself into thinking he's back in his younger days. For 3,000 years! No, 3 months? 3 years. Anyway, that despicable witch took away my strength and imprisoned me in that bottomless lake. Ladies, would you please tell me, has the hammer of justice fallen upon that Persian witch? I can say for sure Esther Zarathustra is dead. She tried to assassinate us and after failing to do so, was killed in self-defense. Haha, people are always brought down by their own specialty, just like it happened to my Imperator. Imperator? Yes, Imperator. It means Emperor. Not Roman, Greek, German, Turkish, or Russian. The pride and joy of France. Napoleon Bonaparte. Oh my gosh. This... Are we just gonna see every historical figure ever in this story? Like, what the hell is going on? It's the first time I've heard Napoleon had a dragon in his ranks. You're mistaken, lady. I've been by my emperor's side as his most loyal soldier, from Alexandria to St. Helena. Anyone who loves mythology and lore and just like looking into history, this story is a gem. Oh my god. A soldier, not a dragon. Fire comes out of my gun, not my mouth. Ah, though I guess I'm indeed a dragon now. I just noticed too that he has like the French shoulder guards on still, with like frills hanging off them. What exactly are you trying to say? Excuse me. At my age I forget things rather quickly. Like, it's clear, I think it's supposed to be a part of his body now, but he has the French shoulder guards. That I, the Emperor's most trusted soldier, betrayed him is an irrefutable and unacceptable fact. That's right. I betrayed my Emperor, the day everything ended and everything began. The Emperor activated the wall. He tried to create a new world, and yet I ran away from the battlefield. Oh, so Napoleon's the one that friggin' turned on the wall of Asgard. I see, so Napoleon's the bad guy. Let's go and fight Napoleon. Oh, I love this story. I was so excited, I spilled my coffee on me while I was trying to take a sip. This is so silly, I love it. Emperor, wall, new world. Ah, cursed algae. Damn you whirlworms. They have eaten away my mind, and now this poor Bertrand is going crazy. I am deeply sorry. Yes, I forgive you. Just answer my question, please. Ah, yes, of course. Colonel Bertrand, why did you become a dragon? Dragon? Dragons are often associated with emperors. At least that's what Eastern legends say. Lady, let me tell you something. There's no such thing as an imperator in the East. Divinity is a vulgar ideal. The essence of the triumphant general is being a superhuman. Yes, our emperor is a fair and just being. He's a superhuman, same as that evil witch. Oh great, so apparently not only is Napoleon the evil guy that started the wall, Napoleon's also apparently a mantis of some sort. Is there any difference between a serpent woman and a dragon man, then? There is. At first glance, there's not much of a difference between clouds and rainbows. There's quite a lot. But by looking at it from another perspective, you'll see they're very different. The person who makes the clouds wants rain, and the person who makes rainbows wants sunlight. The Emperor is human, at least on the surface. A great person like him would never become a half-beast like me. The Emperor once said God is a pyramid built by people inside their hearts, a home they create to escape from disaster and suffering. The great Emperor would always face his feelings head-on and inspire everyone around him. What? Oh, great Napoleon Bonaparte, I swear my eternal loyalty to you. Says the guy that ran away. But didn't you say a moment ago that you betrayed him? Me, Henri Gatien Bertrand, betray the Emperor? What kind of joke is that? Ah, right. Betrayed the Emperor. That's why I'm here at the mercy of algae and woolworms. I love this guy. I love him. Please forgive me. My head is a mess right now, but I'll do my best to remember. Was it Moscow? Waterloo? St. Helena? The butterflies in St. Helena were quite beautiful. Butterflies? No, forget the butterflies. They're a fantasy brought up by the algae and the whirlworms. Oh my god. Are we gonna get some reference to the song? Let me think. Fantasy. Ah, I remember. Everything started in St. Helena. St. Helena was under the jurisdiction of the East India Company, so the British people watching us were their employees. The Emperor was defeated, and together with us, his faithful servants, he was exiled to that small island. The island was managed by an old British man, but he had many Indian personnel, like handymen, architects, and even an astronomer working for him. No, wait. The architect and the astronomer were the same person. He had a funny name. I think it was I remember. Bhaskara the 18th. Yes, that was him. That damn Indian madman. Again, I love this because some of the stuff that's in this story would never get put into an English story because people are going to complain about racism or whatever else, so you shouldn't portray history this way. I love it. It's so good. Reusing history in a way to make stories more interesting, it's like cheating. Because if you had to write this story from scratch, it would be way harder. But you can just take bits and pieces of real history, real story, things that actually happened, and then mix characters into it, and you make a beautiful new story. I love stuff like this. I've done this stuff before, never publicly. Those will be secret and stuck in my head forever. But I used to do stuff like this. I've thought about doing it for stuff like D&D. It's a fun way to try and come up with a D&D campaign. Although I've done it so many times now, I think making a world from scratch isn't that hard, but it's still fun. If you mean Bhaskara II, he was one of the greatest mathematicians of the 12th century. No idea if the 18th one was a mathematician too. In 1820, he spent the whole year working on a strange machine. That cursed machine was an affront to God. He was from India, but he had a permit from the King of England, so no one could put a stop to his scientific research. And what? How is that machine related to the Emperor? I don't understand what you're getting at. Please don't rush me. I will explain everything to you. The machine that Bhaskara, madman, made is related to my current situation. First, he spent over a year installing strange devices throughout the island. Then, on May of 1821, the day of the new moon, he moved the island from Earth, or rather I should say, from our universe. What? According to him, the night of the first new moon of May 1821 was the time when the stars are aligned. By being at the right time and right place, one would be able to exchange matter with a world next to ours. So basically he did the same experiment that Otto did, but probably a little less intelligently, and sent people to this world. Did the Indian ever say the name of that device? I think it was Gurnia. No, it wasn't. Genius. No. Genius. Yes, that one. Genius. Genius cluster. I'm 100% sure. Another incident involving the genius. So this world is very tightly linked to the genius device. I guess maybe the genius device was something devised by the previous era. Maybe it was part of Project Stigma, because we know Project Stigma was trying to create, like, artificial worlds in imaginary space. They were trying to connect human minds and souls to imaginary space. Maybe this was part of it? The Indian madman used that genius cluster to move the island to an unknown space. An unknown space? Not the world we are here right now. I don't think they're the same. The stars in the sky that night looked very different. The madman threatened us, saying that if we don't listen to him, we'll be trapped there forever. and experience excruciating pain for all of eternity. So you disobeyed his demands? I'd like to say we didn't, but unfortunately that isn't what happened. I love this dragon. It's so easy to voice his personality because it's so obvious the way he's reacting to things. He pulled out a box from nowhere, took a vial from the box, and drank from it. His body then began to transform into a monster. I thought he was going to use strange magic to control everyone, but then he said, I know I don't have what it takes to be a superhuman. Drinking this drug means I'll soon lose my reasons and become a merciless, cruel Honkai beast. But I know at least one person among you has a stigmata. I am talking about you, Napoleon Bonaparte, great Emperor of France. If you take this drug, you will become a superhuman. So yeah, it is just like a liquid Honkai serum. Same idea of what was used to treat the twins. Same as what Grey Serpent used to become Asaka. Interesting. Do so, and you will be able to defeat me, protect your men and their children, and by using the notes I've left, you'll be able to move the island back to a stable world. My skin has already become harder than steel. You have 10 seconds left to decide, Emperor. He's crazy. The British soldiers tried to stop him using swords and guns, but they did nothing to him. The situation was hopeless. Until a vial of that drug rolled up to the Emperor's feet. Did he drink from it? Yes, and what happened next was as the madman predicted. The Emperor didn't become a monster. Instead, he became a superhuman, a being stronger than a monster. He became a mantis of some sort. He looked like he was in his 30s, but not even the youngest and strongest soldiers could be a match for him. His fist would split the sky, and his kicks would smash the ground. He subdued the monster. Even though swords and guns didn't work against it, his bare hands killed it. Afterwards, the Emperor gathered every French and British on the island and used notes behind the madman to go back to our original world. Or so we were supposed to. We only noticed when our ship landed on the shores of Britain. This wasn't the world we knew. Everyone on the island was speaking French, as if we were back to the time right after the Norman conquest. That doesn't surprise me anymore. You still looked human at the time, didn't you? What happened next? The Emperor wasn't discouraged when he saw this strange new world. If that's how it is, let's make a new life, a new empire in this land, he said. Now that I think about it, that was the moment when everything went downhill. Well, that's the end of the 3rd chapter, apparently. Well, 3rd we've read. 16? I think? Oh, here's the music again. I like the music, I don't mind. Are you referring to the Emperor activating the wall? That's right. Those energy walls destroyed the remnants of the old order. Exactly what the Emperor was aiming for. He needed that for the new order left behind by the ancient work as intended. Wait a moment, what do you mean by new order? Didn't I say so already? Ah, I guess I didn't. At my age, one can't even understand children's books unless you read them several times. Apparently I can't read at all. If you wanted to know what New Order was, right? I suppose I'll need to explain the history of this world first. There was a prophet in this Europe before the Emperor arrived. A prophet of the religious type? Yes, that kind of prophet. Every community that worshipped him did it in an abnormal way. They all prioritized the collective will over their own individuality. I know what you're thinking. I can see it in your eyes. You think there must be many virtuous people in this world. And you're not wrong. It's a virtue to be selfless. However, the more virtuous something is, the less likely it is for all men to have it. You should be aware of how difficult it is for a group to maintain the mentality of one for all, despite the passage of time, the gradual shifts in their members, and the flow of information. Selflessness is like clear water, and selfishness is like ink. To avoid pollution, an ideal organization must force each of its member to be like clouds, and return the water to the earth as rain. There aren't many groups of people in history who could have maintained that way of living, but the Prophet miraculously obtained that result all over the continent. The Emperor noticed that abnormality and tried to find an answer. Please don't go off on a tangent. What was the answer? What an impatient lady. It's simple. The Prophet changed the very instincts those people were born with. He changed their instincts. Genetic manipulation to become a hive mind, perhaps. I don't know what genetic manipulation or hive mind means, but the answer the Emperor found was in Latin. It was a manuscript left behind by the Prophet. The Prophet said he learned that trick from forbidden fruit. However, he didn't include how he pulled it off to prevent his knowledge to be used for evil in the future. So this is probably referring to this world's version of Shixel. The Prophet found some previous era fruit, which is probably like technology, and used it to manipulate people and to try and make the world better in his eyes. He engraved 3 principles into the instincts of the continent's inhabitants. First, an individual may not bring harm to the collective, or, through inaction, allow the collective to come to harm. Are we going to friggin' iRobot now? Is this the 3 laws except applied to humans? I saw how that went in iRobot. Second, an individual may not bring harm to another individual as long as the first principle is not violated. Yep, this is literally friggin' iRobot. You can't allow people to come to harm. You can't allow people to come to harm. You can't bring harm to someone unless unless the first principle would be violated, which means you can protect people from your hive mind. Third, the individual must obey the orders given by the collective, except where such orders would conflict with the first and second principles. This is literally friggin' iRobot, and it's hilarious. Yeah, I know. I know it's not totally that, but that's probably a more commonly known example. It's just funny. It's really funny to see. Yeah, there we go. 3 laws of robotics. It's just funny to see it. Isn't that just like 3 laws of robotics? Oh. So they put it in Chinese there? I wish they would translate it all. I think it'd be more accurate to call it 3 laws of the military. In this case, collective doesn't necessarily mean the whole human race. Rather, collective would be the army itself. From the perspective of the Emperor, those people are the ideal soldiers. That's right. A good general can encourage his soldiers, and in turn, his soldiers can encourage their patrons. Those were good times. Everyone's morale was high. The only problematic ones were Hudson Lowe and his men. Who's Hudson Lowe? The British officer in charge of St. Helena. He tried to take a shot at obtaining the Emperor's power. The Emperor! The Emperor is here! What? Hey, what are you saying? I can feel the Emperor's presence. Does anyone from your group have ties with the Emperor, or do you know where he is? No, that must not be it. The Emperor came personally to capture me, his betrayer. Impossible. The Emperor can't leave that. Calm down, you dumb dragon. Oh my gosh, he's reacting about that? Seriously, you shouldn't be freaking out like this at your age, buddy. But what is that? Some kind of monster? Do you mean me? Let me tell you, I'm the one and only weapon that's so annoying that makes me want to throw it into a furnace. Leaving aside for a moment the fact that you were hiding things from me, you being here means everyone is okay now, correct? Yeah, hello there, you two. Man, I sure feel refreshed after taking a nap. Oh my, what's this thing? You've got another pet? I can't feel the Emperor's presence anymore. You seem to be well as usual, Captain. And he's not a pet. He's Bertrand, a former colonel who served under the Emperor. Emperor? The one who made that wall, of the very same one we're trying to get rid of? Yes, that Emperor. According to him, the name of that Emperor is Napoleon Bonaparte. That can't be. Someone you know, Professor? What, you're a relative of his or something? You're kidding, right? Come on, we're talking about Napoleon. Napoleon Bonaparte, the first Emperor of France. One of the greatest soldiers in human history. Have you never read about him in the Great Library? Oh yeah, I remember hearing about a guy like that. In some worlds, he went around Europe causing trouble and killing people here and there in the name of France, or something like that. I expect that from a British woman. I understood this correctly. He's like Caesar then. Such a great hero is our enemy. Not necessarily. We only have Colonel Bertrand's testimony as our proof. Wait, his name is Bertrand. What is it, you self-important woman? You don't believe me? No, I don't mean to say I don't believe you. It's just a truth hard to swallow. So you're saying I'm lying? I didn't mean it like that either. Then explain yourself. Bertrand, this is what we call a one-sided argument. We have no way to confirm the veracity of your information about Napoleon Bonaparte, in case you are remembering something wrong. Basically, there's no other source of information besides you. Understood? I don't accept that. I am Colonel Bertrand. No, Brigadier General Bertrand. I've served the Emperor longer than most. Yes, so what? So what, you say? Even algae and whirlworms would. Ah, how could this be happening? Damn algae, damn whirlworms. You're completely right. I can't tell anymore if my memory is correct or not. But the Emperor indeed found and activated that wall. That's something I'm completely sure of. Yeah, that's what the legends say too, though they never revealed who this Emperor was. I'm more interested in the Emperor's motive instead. What did he gain by activating that wall? Colonel Bertrand, do you know anything about that? He wanted a border. Of course. Like Lime's or Hadrian's Wall. No, the Emperor's new empire needed those walls more than the Roman Empire did. That wall was absolutely necessary. Why? Take a look at me. I'm a monster barely alive. The moment I stepped out of that wall, I forego any chances of returning back to my normal self. Curse you, Persian witch. You told me I could go back to normal with the power of that purple jewel. But I ended up like this, unable to move, and treated like Leyden jar for energy extraction. Okay, and this is probably just telling you what a Leyden jar is. Leyden jar is basically a really old school capacitor. Basically a battery. That's one I know, off the top of my head. I can explain that one. I know a little bit more about like circuitry and engineering than I do about history and mythology, as much as I wish I knew more. I love seeing it. I love reading it. Names go in one ear and out the other. My brain does not work so well. Doesn't matter who. Someone just take this damn jewel off the back of my neck. The color and feel was so similar to our energy source, I thought they were the same thing. Oh, is it one of his? Jewel. Purple. Let me see. Ah, but if it isn't my noble, the gem of domination. What are you doing here, you little thing? This jewel belongs to you, strange magic sword. The silliness of Durandal. I've wanted to do like a D&D campaign for a long time. I've thought about streaming it. Like make a campaign, have some friends join and have stream it. I know a lot of my friends want me to do it too. I now really badly want a sentient weapon of some sorts or a sentient item. Just so I can troll the players as much as possible with it. Yeah, it's a long story, so let me get it off you first. No worries, it won't hurt. This little guy can control the direction of energy, and that also includes the electric signals of your nerves. There, got it. See, it didn't hurt at all. Ah, I feel like a weight has been lifted off my back. Ha ha ha. Boy, that serpent woman sure didn't put it to good use. Oh, you will find out in the future, Rita, believe it or not. What would be the proper use of the gem of domination then? Great Durandal? Great doo-doo? Oh my gosh. We'll see. The other problem is finding the time to actually, write a story and come up with a world, come up with art and stuff for it. But I'll look into it, because I do think it'd be good content for stream too, to do a campaign. And as much as I love playing a character, I love designing worlds. I think world building... If you couldn't tell by the fact that I hate so much about Genshin, but I stay for the world building, I love world building. I love it. So who knows, maybe I'll try to do that within the next few months. I'm sure a lot of my friends would be really happy if I started doing that. I know, for people who don't know, we did... Actually, I don't think... Did anyone stream it? I can't remember if we streamed our D&D. But last year, I think it was, like the beginning of last year maybe? Maybe even longer ago. Jeez, it's been a while. But me and a group of friends all did D&D together. Real fun, got a little silly. We had way too many people. I think we had like 9-10 people. So we ended up having to split the group in two. And so the campaign kind of split off doing different quests. And then we eventually came back together at the end. But it was fun. I do think having that many people just doesn't work though. There's too many voices, and whoever is one of those people that's really upfront and pushy, they're going to be the one kind of controlling the flow of the whole story. As a DM, if it's only 3 or 4 people, even if you have a pushy someone, you can push right back. If it's 10 people and there's one person pushing the other players, it's really hard for a DM to protect the other players from that, like, bully player. And that did kind of happen a little bit. Not like my friends were doing it on purpose, but, you know, it happens when someone has a stronger voice than other people, especially when it was most people's first D&D game. But things to think about. I do have a world that I started building quite a while ago. Maybe I can continue that. Let me explain using the words of Professor Schrödinger. Have you ever heard of Maxwell's demon? What's that? Some kind of Honkai beast? Miss Bianka. Maxwell's demon is an imaginary monster physicists created, which can freely manipulate the direction of particles in a convenient way to violate the laws of thermodynamics. 100 points to Rita. The gem of domination can let its user freely manipulate all kinds of energy. I've gotta thank you, dragon. I've been looking for it. Dew sure is polite when talking to strangers. It doesn't act that way around you because it likes you, Miss Bianca. Hey, I don't want that thing to like me. It's so cute seeing how the relationship between them formed, because we saw 25EX, I think it was, Bianca and Durandal chatting with each other, and just how playful of a relationship it was. Back to the topic at hand. Bertrand, why was the wall so important to the Emperor? Oh, loud music again. Was it only to collect that strange energy, the one the Indian madman made the Emperor drink? What do you mean, only? That energy is super important. The Emperor's power began to fade over the years. By the time he got that power from the Indian madman, he was nearing the end of his life. If he hadn't done something, his superhuman power would have faded away, and he would have died soon after. And the new empire he built in Britain would be destroyed. The Emperor began to methodically drink the drug left behind by the madman, which no one knew how to reproduce. Around that time, a British officer wanted to become immortal. Tried to steal one of the vials. I'm talking about Hudson Lowe, the man I mentioned earlier. There was a need to look for a replacement for that drug, and if it could be shared with everyone, even better. That reminds me, it was about the time the Emperor learned the secret of the hymn. I don't remember which one happened first, but anyway, the Emperor acquired the power of the hymn and the blueprints to make the wall. One thing at a time, what is the hymn? The hymn is a piece of music made by the prophet. It brings forth the baptism lying dormant in people's blood engraved by their ancestors, to prevent it from diluting and losing efficiency. So it's kind of similar to the Kaslana stigmata. Obviously for a totally different purpose. But it's a part of their genetics that rebuilds their genetics to make sure that those 3 laws, the 3 principles, stay programmed into them. After learning that, the Emperor used that musical piece to make every tribe and settlement swear loyalty to his empire. By baptism, you're referring to the 3 principles mentioned earlier? Yes. First, an individual may not bring harm to the collective, or through inaction allow the collective to come to harm. Second, an individual may not bring harm to another individual as long as the first principle is not violated. Third, an individual must obey the orders given by the collective except where the orders would conflict with the first and second principles. These instincts were engraved into people's blood, and gradually they spread out throughout the continent. All the Emperor had to do was welcome these innate followers with open arms. The Emperor of a foreign land took his servants and swarmed the streets. Then strange things started to happen. Half those who saw them couldn't help but join them, as if they were born to be the Emperor's servants. We heard that earlier in the story, so that's why he was using the hymn. The Emperor's servants didn't eat, drink, nor sleep. They just followed their Emperor, singing songs in a strange language and marching forward. What the legend says was true. No, it's exaggerating. They didn't drink nor eat, born to be his servants. Not at all. I can guarantee you, British lady, the Emperor of France would never use such magic-like tactics. Pure nonsense. The Emperor was only doing a demonstration to his men. He was proving human power can exceed humanity itself. Why do that? Can't he just show them his own power? Before we landed on Amsterdam, the Emperor shared some of his drug with us. He was convinced not only an Emperor would be able to gain such power, and by that point there was no need to carefully ration the drug anymore. He knew erecting the wall would be the same as sharing the drug with everyone, though I don't remember where he got that knowledge about the wall from. Probably it must have been in some ruin. I wish I could go back in time before I betrayed the Emperor. Everything was simple and beautiful till that day. I don't know whether the Emperor fully understood the technology he used by the Prophet, or he miscalculated something along the way, but in the end, once the wall was up, a lot of innocent people died. They were all the Emperor's men, including new soldiers who believed in him and had the baptism awakened. Not even the Emperor himself expected that many to die. I wonder, is the Wall of Asgard essentially the same idea as Project Stigma? To hit the world with a massive wave of Honkai energy, so that people that are resistant would become like mantises. They'd live and have their stigmas awaken, and the people and beings that are not strong enough to survive Honkai would just get vaporized. And it spread across the whole world until it met on the other side and disappeared, and you now have a Honkai-infected world with a few strong people able to survive in it. Makes you wonder if something like that exists on the canon stories lore. If the ability to make a wall exists. And if that's something Kevin's gonna try to do. It turned out the baptism from the Prophet wasn't good enough to withstand that kind of evolution. Some survived like me. Some others fully evolved like the Emperor did. But many more, approximately 90% of the population, turned into monsters like that Indian madman, or were burned to ashes the moment they were exposed to that energy. So I guess the people who turned into monsters were people that had a little bit of resistance, but not enough. How terrible. Indeed. If there's a hell, it would look like that. Some died in agony, some failed to escape. Some started crying, some devoured their own companions. Some burned to a crisp, some shattered to pieces. The remaining 10% coldly looked down at them, as if they were unworthy stains on the floor. Because of the ancient baptism engraved in their souls. I couldn't stand seeing that. I couldn't stand being by the Emperor's side any longer. Fear overwhelmed my loyalty, and I instinctively ran away. Isn't that ridiculous? It wasn't even a real betrayal. I just couldn't bear such tragedy any longer. I ran away. The Emperor's most loyal soldier ran away. I ran away with my tail between my legs after obtaining that superhuman power. I don't think you should blame yourself for it. Most likely, the Emperor created a mighty and merciless nation of superhumans inside the wall by now. Meanwhile, this poor Bertrand is wandering aimlessly outside the wall. I am Bertrand the coward. I can't do anything. I can't even rely well what I know to the others. No one is willing to get close to that big scary dragon. No one wants to hear what I have to say. 99 out of 100 people run away scared after seeing me, and the remaining one try to kill me for honor and glory. Yeah, that's something that would happen. And damn that Persian witch. She trapped me here to take what little energy I had left. That would explain why he's kind of like a yellowy color instead of pink. He probably has very little Honkai energy. Assuming that's purely what they're using is just Honkai energy. It's confusing because Honkai energy we know takes the appearance of like a pink, but imaginary energy is like a gold color as far as we know. So there's clearly got to be a difference between them, right? You know, I've thought about it a few times, but I'm kind of just piecing that together, that we've seen Honkai and imaginary energy and they both look different, so I guess maybe Honkai is just like tampered with imaginary energy. There's something different about it. It would make sense. Or maybe it's something completely separate. And the Honkai are just stealing energy, using energy from the imaginary. Let's end this once and for all. This coward doesn't deserve to be called the Emperor's most loyal soldier. Let someone else take that title. Brave ladies, before you face the Emperor, fight against this subordinate as a warm-up. Here's a better idea. Show us how to get past the wall. Colonel Bertrand can't join your expedition, so at least let me die in battle. Now kill me, at least let me die a soldier's death. If this was a normal video game, this would be a boss fight. You find out all this lore about the world, this is the turning point of the story when you find the truth, and now we gotta fight the dragon. Not because he's evil, but because he wants to die. Hey, what are you saying? Please calm down, Bertrand. I think, if you want to die so badly, why don't you just do it? Hey, don't joke about that. It wasn't a joke, Miss Bianca. All humans eventually die, so choosing how to die is important. But there is something our coward over here doesn't understand yet. If you want a soldier's death, why don't you try battling the monster called Living over and over to find out how long it'll take you to die? The monster called Living. Yes, Living is the toughest opponent in the world. After all, no one can win against it. Even the greatest heroes enjoy battling it with all they've got. Old people are stubborn, so I'm gonna go on a rant until you get it. This man's a fucking tsundere. I love this stupid sword. Idiot! Dying fool! Coward! Where did the soldier who sang Chant depart go? Life is waiting for you to make your next move. There are still many things you can do in this world. You... That's right! Hey, Miss Bianca, I'm still not done. Shut up and let me talk, else I'm handing you over to the villagers to be used as a pickaxe. Colonel Bertrand, we are certainly going to face the Emperor in the future. I understand you can't come with us, but I have the perfect job for you. Take a good look at this twisted, troubled superhuman worshipping and driven superstition country. What would be of them if we all leave? Colonel Bertrand, I ask you please save this land. Would you guide them as a real superhuman that you are? Aw, look at her cute face. You're better suited for this than the Emperor or Persian witch, because you have a gentle heart. That beautiful heart of yours didn't change after all these years, so please, don't let it go to waste. Bianca. Well said, Valkyrie. Dragon, the people of this place don't hate you. Rather, they'll worship you. But I betrayed my emperor. So what? You think the emperor never betrayed anyone? He's a man who invaded other countries, built a nation, and for his ambition sent many men to their honorable deaths. How many of them you think he betrayed as their emperor? You think he would actually be bothered by your betrayal? I think you make a good point. He's the type of person who wouldn't care about betrayals. Very well, it's your win. I am truly a fool who can't crawl out of his own problems by himself. Damn you, algae. Damn you, oilworms. Man's just gonna blame the creatures he saw in the water for driving him crazy. What I've been thinking all this time. Nothing wrong with that. Even the elderly need help every now and then. Don't you think so? Moreover, let's get this over with and forget all unpleasantries. Come now, come on. Let's introduce you to everyone right away. Rita? Yes, Miss Bianca. Something on your mind? I wonder if it was really okay for us to push such an important job on that old man. You're truly a kind person. For a last-minute decision, it was a pretty good one. You think so? His new workplace has nothing to do with his past experiences. It's the perfect opportunity for him to reaffirm his own values. And as people say, good work is healthy for the mind and body. So, to celebrate the return of the oldest superhuman, the Dragon Colonel Bertrand, we'll be holding a grand ballgame tournament. We'll split into red team and blue team. Anyone can participate. Oh god, what game are they gonna play? Okay, long live the great Nakam. Let's light up the place with torches once it gets dark and let the children welcome the new era with this game. Sorry I'm late. What's going on? Like you just heard, the captain invited people to join a match of ballgame to celebrate the arrival of the Dragon Colonel. Ball game? I can play soccer a little, but what kind of ball game they play here? Mesoamerican ball game. According to the records of the Great Library, it's the most popular sport around these parts. I'm actually kinda curious about this one. Crap. Mesoamerican ball game. Hey, it actually... The Mesoamerican ball game was a sport with ritual associations played since... I don't care about date. Judging from its descendant, Ulama, they were probably similar to racquetball, where the aim is to keep the ball in play. The stone ball court goals are a late addition to the game. Damn, that's a heavy ball. Ouch. So what this sounds like is it's kind of like your typical... I know I played this as a kid. Maybe some people did. But it's like a game where you're bouncing the ball off the wall. I guess like they're saying with a racket, and you have to keep it bouncing. You can't let it hit the ground, or you can't let it bounce too far away, whatever. Depends on the game. Sometimes it can hit the ground, sometimes it can't. They did it with their hip. They were hip checking this like 9-pound ball to make it bounce and hit the wall, and they had to keep doing that. Imagine how bruised their hips are. And then later generations, they added a goal to score points. Huh. That's interesting. I love seeing stuff like this. I'm learning things from reading a freaking video game story. Okay. And it did say on that wiki entry that later they added more than just the hips, so I guess they used that version in this story. Also, this picture, this court that we're seeing here was one of the pictures on the Wikipedia, I'm pretty sure. So they took like an actual picture of the place and just added a filter to it. Basically, you try to keep the ball in play. You're allowed only to use your head, elbows, knees, and hips. Imagine using your head for a 9-pound rubber ball. Ow. Doesn't sound like a good idea. Huh. What an unusual sport. Ah, okay, yep. They have the hoop rule too. Alright, there's another rule. You'll win if you make the ball go through the opponent's stone hoop. If you make that happen, any point invalidated by rule violations will be returned to your team. Of course, doing so is not an easy task. A one-shot, one-kill move? Interesting. Is she gonna try playing the game? By stone hoop, you mean that thing hanging on the wall? Yeah. As you can see, it's attached high into the wall, and the ring has enough room for a ball to pass through. Hehehe. Nothing is impossible for a Valkyrie. I'll participate, just you watch. I'll show you the legendary one-shot, one-kill move. In that case, I shall be Bianka's opponent. Oh no, Rita's gonna demolish her, isn't she? Oh, you want to compete with me, Rita? Excellent, that's how Valkyries should be. Rita, I accept your challenge. No, Bianca. I just thought the match would be too one-sided if it's a Valkyrie on only one of the teams. How boring. But you better not hold back during the match, Adjutant Rita. Of course, I'll do my best not to disappoint you. Very well. Come on, let's sign up. I was gonna say, I hope there's some good art for this little game they're playing. There's one piece of art unique to the game so far. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this game started. Whoa! The Special Red Team, 1 shot, 1 kill. That's what she named her team. The Valkyrie, Bianka Atagina. I'm betting on you, Miss Bianca. Do your best. The Special Blue Team. If that is your order, I will not hold back. Get too confident and you will lose. Miss Bianca. That's the name of her team. What? Rita. What? That's not how you name things, Rita. The Valkyrie. Rita Rosweiss. Do your best, Miss Rita. Show these guys how it's done. Things are getting exciting. Think the players are getting nervous too. Now then, ready, start. Both teams clash as soon as it started. Oh, yep, they're gonna do some art for it. That's good. Nice! Bianca hits the ball with her elbow to the center of the court, and Rita swiftly returned it to the back. The red team didn't make it in time. Blue team scores 0-1. The red team quickly claims a point. Bianca performed a service ace aimed at the opponent's body. 1-1. The match is at a stalemate. Neither team has scored for a while. Oh, a mistake! Bianca made a mistake. She sent the ball flying to the audience. 1-2. Blue team is in the lead. Again, red team missed 2 times in a row. The players at the back missed and sent the ball outside. Is the red team nervous due to their recent mistakes? 1-3. The red team is still keeps making straightforward shots. Could they be perhaps aiming for the stone hoop? Blue team sent the ball unexpectedly to the back of the court. Red team make it in time, but it's a foul. They touch the ball with their hands. That's against the rules, folks. 1-4. Blue team is 1 point away from match point. What will the red team do? It seems that the players of the red team are trying to communicate with each other using gestures, and it started. Seems the red team is going for an all or nothing shoot. The blue team is playing defensively, maintaining their formation. Wow, what was that? What happened? Bianca jumped, turned around midair, and made a shot with her knee. The ball went through the hoop magnificently. Unbelievable. The red team has made a miraculous comeback. It's the red team's victory. Like their name suggested, they ended it with 1 shot, 1 kill move. Congratulations, red team. Congratulations, Bianca. That shot was spectacular. The red team wins this special match. Red team wins 14-12. Oh my gosh. That was fun to read out. Well played, Rita. I came very close to losing. Yes, that last shot was magnificent. The audience was very excited, too. It was great. I really don't get it. Didn't they just lose their leader? How can they carry on like nothing and have fun? Was their faith a lie all along? This is what we call a cultural difference. To be honest, I envy them a bit. You envy them? Yeah. For them a ruler is just a totem. Their lives belong to them, and not to someone high above. I think it's a wonderful thing. It's proof their leaders don't interfere on their daily lives. I must admit that Persian woman was a good leader, at least in that aspect. The people here worship a system, not a particular person. That system does have its fair share of issues, but it's better than a system you can't put your trust on. So even if the High Priestess turns into a dragon colonel, this society won't lose that wonderful thing. Dogma aside, do you actually care if God's name starts with A or J? Give that a thought, Dragon Colonel. I will say, I'm sad that the character Akanal died earlier. But, I mean, I said this the other day when playing Genshin, right? That bad things have to happen. You need losses in a story for a story to be interesting. And that was a very vulnerable point for Bianka. They did a good job showing hope on it, too. And the chapters that followed, they did a really good job of making the best of the situation. At least it's mostly happy. And I like that as much as they did it with Alexandria too, there's major cultural differences in these places to modern day. Like the dragon said, that how can these people lose their leader and be fine? Because a leader doesn't matter, right? The leader is to help guide them, but they just follow their principles. They live for themselves. It's such a better way to live. But it just wouldn't work in most societies because people are so used to how things are now. It's always interesting seeing stuff like this, just different ways of life. Blasted powerful people ruined multiple cultures that had a very simple, happy way of life. Oh. They decorate the temple. The sun sets and the stars make their presence known. The heat coming off from the stadium could still be felt, and the ruins were still decorated with precious colored lights. There's no way you're going to say those are colored lights. That has to be paint on it. This roller coaster-like journey comes to a halt, and exhaustion finally caught up the young Valkyrie. I'm feeling tired all of a sudden. We haven't taken a break in 2 days, have we? I just want to lie down and have a good night's sleep. That sounds good. The air here is nice, and the terrain has been well maintained. Stop it, or I'm really gonna fall asleep here until tomorrow. Should I bring a tent then? There won't be a problem if we use one. Yes, there is. Why camp outside if we have a place to stay? That just reminds me, when I was a kid, because we couldn't always afford, to go to a fancy campground or to go out hiking or something like that. My dad used to set up the tent in our backyard. We have a really big backyard. We couldn't do it anymore because since I was a kid, we used to have just a big field for our backyard with a tree in it. We've gotten rid of the tree and now we have a big in-ground pool. But it used to just be a really big grassy field for our backyard basically. And we'd have a tent set up there and we'd camp out for the night. It was fun. Just because you have somewhere nicer doesn't mean you can't have fun and do something different. Well, resting here doesn't sound so bad. And our quarters are a little too far away. The stars are beautiful tonight. This beautiful starry night has been above us every night here. So why do unpleasant things keep happening? Akenal and the High Priestess, we caused things to end the way they did. You did, but things ended up okay. Miss Bianka. I know, Rita, I know. If we hadn't intervened, Akenal probably would have died in a civil war, and the Federation, under the High Priestess's control, would have crossed lines that shouldn't be crossed. But I can't help feel disgusted at my own powerlessness. That's being human. Please don't blame yourself, Miss Bianka. That isn't like you. I do believe those with power have a responsibility to uphold, but no matter how strong someone is, they can't be omnipotent like God. Not even the Overseer is able to run his organization all by himself. I know that very well. How can I put it? It's like an obsessive-compulsive disorder. If my efforts don't bring the best possible results, I begin to feel depressed. I hate this kind of self-introspection the most. God damn it. But I'm aware this isn't a healthy way of living. I'll probably become a very boring and depressed person in 5 or 10 years. I don't think depressed is the word she used in the original. I could be wrong. I believe we saw this quote in the game, and she said that she would become boring and aloof, is what she thought she would be. Something like that. But this is the only way I know to become stronger. I have to be strong. Way stronger. Most of the people I knew, teachers, fellow Valkyries, are no longer in this world. In our world, people's lives can be torn apart so easily by something beyond our understanding, as if they were a fragile piece of paper. I hate it. That's why I want to do my best for those who are no longer here. I think it's similar to the reason why you became a maid, right? Huh? Was I mistaken? Rank A Valkyrie, Rita Rosweiss. Tell me, why did you become a maid? Oh my gosh. According to the documents I've read, your apprenticeship at the Overseer's place ended a long time ago. Knowing you're interested in me makes me very happy. Please stop teasing me. Wanting to get to know one's subordinates better is a natural thing to do. Is it something you don't want to share? No, not at all. But it'll take some time to explain. In that case, let me tell you a story. The story of a certain Valkyrie and a certain girl. Oh no. The date is 2007, and the location is Manchester, England. Is that reused art? I think that's reused art. I swear that's the art that was used in Second Eruption when an explosion went off with Siren. I swear this is the exact same piece of art they used. I mean, that's one way to save themselves some work. Fair enough, but... "5 years ago, a Honkai incident occurred in the girl's hometown. From a worldwide perspective, it was just a small incident where no one died. Probably only a handful of people remember it ever happened. That incident was the trigger that changed the life of a little girl who was supposed to inherit her family business and become a florist. She left her flower garden, underwent rigorous training, and became a Valkyrie. That day, a monster that indiscriminately tried to destroy everything in its path appeared. Screams and silhouettes of people panicking flooded the streets. By the time the girl realized what was happening, the monster was already in the vicinity. She was just a regular first-year middle schooler. All she could do was to hide between the stands and pray to not be found. And then, as if her prayers had been answered, a savior angel appeared. Ragna. Are you hurt, little girl? An angel dressed in lace fought the monster in front of her. The girl felt as if she was watching an art performance. By the time reinforcements arrived, the Honkai beast was dealt with. The girl returned to her senses. And when she couldn't muster up the strength to stand up and walk for herself... Aw, she got picked up by Ragna. No need to be shy. You can count on this big sister in times like these. The safe zone wasn't all that far away, so in reality the angel only carried her for about a minute. But to her it felt like an eternity, a moment of bliss, full of light and pleasant aromas. Purity, elegance, warmth, strength. Every virtue mankind could be felt coming off of her. Although back then the little girl was too shy and couldn't express those feelings inside her heart properly. Yeah, you should be safe here. There's a chance the site of the incident could be dangerous, so don't wander off, okay? Are you worried about the flowers? Don't worry, I think the insurance company has you covered. No, I wanted to... Thank you very much. You're welcome. As thanks, if you feel like it, come visit my shop anytime tomorrow. Here, my business card. The angel put down the girl on a bench and immediately went somewhere else. The girl carefully looked at the card the angel gave her. She called it her business card, but it was a card for a certain cafe. Abyss Angel, Liverpool Street, 243. She worked at a maid cafe? Are they trying to increase their number of customers? The girl thought. On the following day, the girl arranged a flower bouquet fitting for the angel and visited Abyss Angel in the afternoon right after opening time. Excuse me. Only when the words came out of her mouth, she realized how careless she had been. She went as far as preparing a flower bouquet, but never asked the angel for her name. Fortunately, the inside of the store wasn't so big and the angel quickly noticed the little girl. Good day, little lady. You came after all. I'm so happy. Oh my gosh, that's a name I recognize. Which I wonder, does the slug have a picture in this? Hello, that Tung Yun? Nice to meet you. We've read through, I think, like 3 or 4 chapters so far. So we're now on 17? 18, I think? We're learning a little bit about Rita's past. You know her, Aslog. Oh, is that what they're saying? Oh, okay. Not quite what I was expecting. Was it? Huh. Was that her last name? For some reason I thought Aslog was someone else. Yeah, we met yesterday. Oh, it's so cute. Thank you for saving me yesterday. This is a token of my appreciation. I thought sunflowers would suit you well. Oh my, they're so pretty. Thank you. Would you like a cappuccino? It's on the house. Delicious. I'm honored by your praise, little lady. There's no need to call me lady. I understand it's part of the job, but it's a bit embarrassing. Oh my god. It's Rita acting like Bianca. I am Rita Rosweiss. Please just call me Rita. Rita, spelled like R-I-T-A. What a nice name. Oh, maybe not. Okay. I was gonna say, I didn't think that was her name. Thank you very much. I do my best to switch up my voice for each character. Sometimes that means my own voice will change in the middle of a stream because I'm not very good at keeping a voice. I'll get there. I am Ragna Lothbrok. A pleasure to be your acquaintance, Rita. Huh? Didn't the other maid call you Aslog? Ah. Yeah, that's kind of a pseudonym I was given for my work here. The name Aslog was taken from the same source, and it's way cuter than Ragna. I don't know, depends on what it means. Ragna and Aslog? Of the same source? Ah, the famous Viking hero. The name of his wife was Aslog. Hehe, yes, it's that, Ragna. My mother wanted to raise me as a warrior, so she came up with that name. My surname also happened to be Lothbrok. Your mother? One would think the father in the family would have those kind of ideas. Family of Valkyries. Well, she's a Valkyrie. It was inevitable. Do we know who Ragna's mother was? Valkyrie? Like an idol from Shixel? No, we're not idols. We're genuine soldiers. My actual job is to deal with Honkai incidents, like the one from yesterday. I see, so that's why you were able to beat that monster. Huh, but then... Why is a Valkyrie working as a part-time maid in a cafe? Do they also, do this? Sorry, you had to see me like that. My part-time job is part of 2-week-long social activity. Actually, I'll be leaving Manchester tomorrow. I love this song. I'm kinda glad they use it a lot. It's nice and relaxing. It's also really windy today. You guys probably can't hear it, but it's really, really windy and I have my window open so I can just hear the relaxing wind and this music. I'm half asleep in my chair reading all of this. Is that so? Social activities. I understand. Speaking of that, do you know what kind of advantages people in the service industry have when it comes to communicating with others? Advantage? Like being able to gather information eavesdropping? Valkyries aren't spies. They don't do that kind of work. Some of them do. But you weren't far off. What I meant was that it's easy for people in the service industry to reach the truth. Like a customer not bothering to lie in front of a waiter. Exactly. People often live their lives wearing a mask, especially in this country. It's said human relations are like porcupines. They keep each other close by for warmth, but if they get too close, they'll pinch each other with their needles. So what you do is keep a low profile and appear to not be obviously threatening. People often lower their guard around those close to them. That way, you'll be able to find out what a person is really like. If you don't mind me asking, were you embarrassed when you began working as a maid? Yeah, I definitely was. But if you think about it, it's a rare life experience worth checking out, don't you think? We've heard so much about Ragna, but we've never really gotten to see much from her. This is so nice to finally get to know Ragna. The angel and the girl spent the rest of the day talking. They talked a lot. The fact that the girl ended up becoming a maid, like her later in life, was just a happy coincidence. Ah, you fell asleep, Miss Bianca. You didn't get to hear Ragna's name then. And here I finally mustered the courage to talk about her. Aww. And here's the same library they keep reusing. Good timing, Rita. I have a job only you can do. Anything you desire, Overseer. Take a look at these documents. No matter what happens, I need you to secure the growth of this girl. Bianka Atagina, rank A Valkyrie, 12 years old. 12 years old? Yes, she's 12 years old. She's the youngest rank A Valkyrie in all of history. Speaking of age, if I recall correctly, you were 13 when you joined headquarters for training under Ragna's recommendation. So shortly after that story, she became a Valkyrie. Yes, I'm honored you remembered. It's nothing special. I know every detail about every rank A Valkyrie. For instance, the woman who recommended you, Ragna, was a splendid Valkyrie, just like you are right now. Her death was a great loss for us. Rita Rosweiss, I ask you, the finest Valkyrie recommended by the late Ragna Lothbrok, please look after this kid who decided to follow Ragna's footsteps and become a Valkyrie. Your orders are my will, Overseer. But if I may ask, do you consider Miss Bianca a sample or a person? You've been trained well. Let me put it this way, Rita. I have special expectations from this girl. Not so special to the point I need to hide them, but to talk about them requires certain conditions to be met. It would be appropriate to quote that line from that famous novels in time like this. Thank you very much. Wait and hope. He wanted to raise Bianca, and he was just hoping that she would become the hero that he wanted her to. I mean, I guess if anything, that's probably one of the most positive things he did. She did end up becoming not only a hero, but a very happy one. She lived a pretty full life, considering. Not sure which chapter we're on now. Was that 4 or 5? I'll keep going, probably for at least like another chapter or two. I do want to get back to transferring my Twitch stuff over so that I can get videos over the weekend. A few days later. Based on your course, the Caledonia will soon leave the Caribbean Sea and enter South American waters. Glad to hear that. We had to make quite the detour due to the spiraling Gulf Stream. They hired some of the people. This submarine is awesome. In only half a day it covered enough distance to go around the Federation. It's all thanks to the high-speed currents. At its normal speed, it wouldn't even lose to a bicycle moving on the ground. Tuya, was it? So you said the Federation had an exchange with the southern country 50 years ago? Yes, that's what I heard from my grandma when I was little. There is a big country far south. When my grandma was little, people from there used to come to the Federation to do business. But that didn't last long. Perhaps due to our cultural differences, some of them violated the Federation's laws and had to be expelled. Since then, merchants from the south stopped coming to the Federation. My grandma said it's possible the southern country is no longer there. Yeah, this is something I've kind of turned into a Friday thing, so we're not going to finish the novel today, but I will be doing this every Friday for a few weeks until we finish it, and then we're probably going to find another manga to read from Honkai. I do need to read, I believe there's a World Serpent manga I gotta read. However, there's still a chance the southern country still exists, right? Indeed. But what matters most is that the location is similar to the one where one of the gems is located. Do you all remember? A space center near the edge of a desert, the gem we found in Egypt. A limestone cave glowing like a jewel in a rainforest, the gem we found in Yucatan. The others were a flower blooming amidst a blizzard, an idol dazzling on the stage, a desolate island with statues pointing towards the shore. Oh my god, we're going to that island? Now that I think about that, I know what island that is. And a mysterious city surrounded by volcanoes and snowy ridges. Could it be you figured out the location of the city? Yes, we were able to narrow down the location thanks to the records from the Great Library. There's only one city that fits that description. The city of Quito. I'm gonna assume Quito? Chito? I'm not sure. Quito, located at the equator in South America. According to Professor Schrödinger, in another world, that city serves as the capital of the Republic of Ecuador. It's possible there might not even be an Ecuador in this world, but going there should give us a hint about that mysterious southern country. Oh, just talking about the country, okay. And by way to safely reach Quito. Yeah, we'll learn more about that on our way. In that case, Captain, would you like to resurface? You're almost at the ABC Islands. ABC Islands? It's just a boring abbreviation. You'll see once we get there. Hmm? That is a boring abbreviation, I see. We can see Aruba and There in the distance, and the one we're standing on is Kurako. Get it? A, B, C. I told you, it's a boring abbreviation. Well, the only boring thing this place has is its name. The island we're on is worth exploring. At the very least, it should help us prove the American continent is not a deserted land. You say that because there is a road. Exactly. We're used to living alongside roads, but roads don't appear out of nowhere. I see. You're saying mankind has been here, and it must not have been a small amount of people. Correct. Well then, let's see where this road takes us. With any luck, we'll find wheel tracks or footprints. Uh-oh. What's she looking at? I can't see it. Although, I think she's about to get a spook. They're so cute. These are large footprints. They're heading towards that hill up ahead. Please tell me there's gonna be another panel of Bianca terrified. Please tell me she's gonna be spooked. Oh, nope, not gonna be spooked. Darn. I was hoping she didn't know that Rita was there. Let's go. The footprints are still fresh. They must not be too far away. The footprints stopped here. Wow, Bianca, look. Not the ground. Up front. Up front? Oh. Are we on those islands? Hello, Fuhua. This, a stone statue. It has a strangely modern feel to it. Is she gonna recognize it? Is she gonna recognize Fuhua? Because she should have seen Fuhua walking around the base. Fuhua worked with Shixel at this point. No, wait! Fuhua left Shixel for a bit after Second Eruption, didn't she? And then she was eventually hired to go to Saint Freya. But after she lost her memories, she left the base for a bit. So maybe Bianca doesn't know Fuhua. Maybe not yet, anyway. Upon closer inspection, it looks like it's been weathered quite a lot. You think it has anything to do with the gems? You serious? Of course not. The statue and the island are completely different from the ones you saw back then. Or could it be you get the urge to collect gems whenever stone statues and islands are brought up together? That little mouth of yours, I wonder how I should shut it up. Nah, someone saved me, murderer. Swords have rights too. Fucking Durandal. Impressive. This face, where have I seen it before? Rita would have met her, maybe, I think. But I don't know. Considering the style of the statue, it doesn't seem like it has anything to do with Dudu's gems. Could it be a southern relic or something like that? Nah, it's a bit of a eastern relic. Given the weather conditions of this place, it must be quite old. It certainly wasn't made in the last couple of decades. Really? Are you sure? You can even see the face very clearly. I have to agree with Dudu. There are traces of lacquer on the pedestal. I'm certain this statue was originally painted. Also, it's a very high quality one. Stone can't be easily corroded by rain. It may even be older than Chichen Itza. Anyway, the statue has nothing to do with the footprints we were following. It's only interesting in an archaeological sense. Archaeology? Even though the sense of time in this place has been warped by drifters coming from many different eras? That's what makes it so interesting. For instance, the model for this statue is wearing an Asian dress, which could mean a famous sculptor once came to this world. Maybe he failed to communicate with the natives, but got a job thanks to his skill set and later made this stone statue out of nostalgia. Or this is a statue made and designed by Fushi to push the grand celestial phoenix. Just a thought. Was it Fushi or was it her sister that made the statue? I can't remember. It was one of the two. Or perhaps the person the statue is based on came to this world herself. She might have been wise or brave, and somehow ended up being worshipped by the natives, who then made this statue to honor her. Both stories are pretty different, aren't they? That's right, but you can't truly deny any of the two, right? But there can only be one truth. Haha, does truth even exist in the first place? What do you mean by that? I thought you would agree with me, considering you call yourself detective and all that. Calm down and listen to me. I agree that a detective should believe there can only be one truth. The incidents a detective is put on are of that nature. But put yourself in the shoes of an archaeologist. Imagine a person who lived a long time ago. For convenience, we'll call him Adam. That's what our ancestors used to call their precursor. Now here's a question for you. How many children did Adam have? Did he have any siblings? What was his favorite food? His hobbies? There's no way I could answer. I don't know anything about him at all. That's right. You don't know Adam, and there's no information about him, so you can't answer. How many children or siblings he had, the food he liked, his hobbies, are all a buried truth to us. There are no answers for every question in this world. Try imagining it. There have been hundreds of billions of people throughout history, and just like our Adam, we don't know anything about them. Maybe that buried truth exists, or maybe it didn't. But obviously it existed, we just have no way of knowing it. You're not wrong about that, but hear me out. It's inevitable that the truth of the past exists in the past. It's a coincidence that the truth of the past exists in the present. We live in the present, not the past. When it comes to the truth of the past, we can only make deductions or guesses at best. And personally, things that I can't even begin to detect might as well not exist. But that's too... If you want the opinion of a playwright, the cruelest thing in the world is not the fact that the truth is buried, but that the story born from it is incredibly boring. So let's go. Let's see if these footprints lead to something interesting or something boring. Are we really not going to learn anything else about Bupa's statue? Whoop. Listen, fools who tried to sneak on the 3rd Battalion. You're surrounded. Put your hands up. What in the world? Sci-fi craziness? Stay still and do as we say. We'll perform a body check. I'm an A-rank Valkyrie. Why do I have to go through a body check? You called yourself the 3rd Battalion, didn't you? From which country? Identify yourself first. Don't move. Stay still. Who do you think you are, coward hiding himself behind a full body armor? Very well. Dudu, teach them a lesson. Wait. Garcilaso, De La Vega, stay down. Roger that. You called yourself a Valkyrie, didn't you? You're the Valkyrie often mentioned in many myths and legends. Wait, that voice and infrared signal coming from that soldier. Roland? Is that you, Roland? Huh? Okay, I was using a horribly wrong voice. Apparently, that's frickin' a girl. Here I am, using a deep voice for her. I hate characters that have armor like this that you can't tell the gender. Oh well. Well, now that armor has a voice changer in it, this is canon. It makes everyone sound like a deep voiced man. That's the only explanation. That's right, I'm Roland Inca, General of the 3rd Battalion of the Inca Republic. What's your name, Talking Sword? Great Roland, you don't remember me. I'm your sword, Durandal. Oh, this version of Roland never found the sword. I don't recall anyone by that name. Are you perhaps mistaking me for someone else with the same name? That can't be. Even if I were to become a piece of scrap metal, you would recognize me. Apologies, it seems one of my crew members is bothering you. Let me apologize in their stead. I'll be counting on you to translate, Rita. Leave it to me, Captain. I am Marion William Shakespeare, Captain of the Caledonia. These are my sailors. We're in the middle of a journey across the world to collect the artifacts needed to take down the tyrant who has taken over the old world. If you speak the language of the old world, you most likely know about it. Old world. Ah, you mean the continent of Europe across the sea. I see, you intend to perform a sneak attack from behind. From behind? Isn't the only way to reach Europe by ship? Could it be that you guys don't know about the Huaca Tunnel? What's that? Haha, you lot really came from far away. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. In simpler terms, it's a path that goes through the center of the Earth and connects both sides of the planet. Excuse me? Let me look up Huaca. This has to be a myth, right? Or... no? Toy. Some sort of toy. Okay. I don't know, I'm confused now. Can I translate Huaca, actually? And it is not Chinese. Detect it. I love how it translates here. Oh, Guaca. I don't know. No idea. Could also be misspelled or something. It's also a fortress that's been protected since the foundation of our republic. So there's some super advanced underground civilization? It's the Republic's duty to protect this continent and the world, the invigorating knight declared about her country. From the archipelago at the north of the equator to the icy lands at the south, the Republic protects the entirety of the South American continent. On the other hand, they also must spare soldiers to protect the Huaca Tunnel, which leads to the core of the planet. Thus, the frontiers are guarded by battalions like hers, who take turns from their frontline duties. However, geographically speaking, there are very little threats at the frontiers of the Republic. This mission is like half sightseeing trip. According to the Captain Shakespeare and other knights, it's impossible to cross the oceans of this world unless it's done via submarine. There are always waves of over 100 meters in the middle of the ocean. For comparison, in the world the young Valkyries come from, there are most waves of 20 or 30 meters, caused by natural phenomena such as tsunamis and typhoons. They got some bad ocean weather, geez. This world still holds many secrets, but the top priority of the Valkyries is to obtain information regarding the Ether Anchor. And while they're at it, find the remaining gems to complete the Holy Sword. Oh, so that machine over there is your submarine. Yeah, my wonderful Caledonia has sailed over 20,000 leagues. Of course, they specifically say that. Of course. Can you cross the Atlantic in one day with it? What, does our dear knight want to go on vacation to Egypt? I'll happily take you anywhere as long as there is anything of value in it for me. Oh, it's not like that. I was thinking if your submarine is fast enough, I could show you the way to the Huaca Tunnel myself. Are you serious? Isn't it the most important fortress in your country? Hahaha, we have an unseen enemy in common, so I thought it'd be better if we get to know each other. But in that case, wouldn't you prefer if we showed to you what we're capable of? Hehe, it would be rude towards you guys, your guests in my country. Besides, the speed of the Caledonia could prove to be a powerful asset. She looks so funny in this big metallic muscly armor. Seems I'm being underestimated. I can take on Honkai beasts with my bare hands, you know. Honkai? How do you know that name? Ah, did I forget to tell you, in my world, a Valkyrie is a soldier who fights the Honkai. We've come from, something similar to a parallel world. Ah, yes, I figured it was something like that. Then if I understood correctly, the Honkai is not just a phenomenon unique to this world. Well, the VOD'll be here, and honestly, I get a lot more people watching my streams on Twitch. YouTube... nah. It's hard to get more people on YouTube. It's easier for me to get people on Twitch. I'm gonna try putting VODs from my Twitch streams on YouTube, and hopefully some people watch it. I'll have to do some shorter clips, too. It is fun when there's more people to hang out with and chat, but also a lot of my viewers, not all of them like story. Some of them just like me watching me play games and fight and stuff like that, and so they might get bored in a stream like this. But if you would like to see more of my streams, down below, there's links to my Twitter and to my Discord. I put all my announcements there so you don't miss anything. You can always subscribe whatever on here, but YouTube isn't very good with that, doesn't always work. I appreciate it either way. But yeah, my Discord server is probably the best place because that's where I talk the most. I do stream mostly on Twitch, so there is a link to my Twitch as well if you want to follow that. I'll be streaming again tomorrow, and I stream 5 or 6 days a week usually. In that case, please allow me to accompany you. Hey, why did you kneel all of a sudden? The Honkai not only gives birth to monsters, but it also corrupts the body. Without enough resistance, a person can't last a week fighting in the front lines, even if they were to use a thick armor. I guess that's why they have that armor. That's why our troops on the front lines are on a constant rotation. And when it comes to actual combat, only Star Whisperers who bear the name of Inca like me can fight. It's not a place for regular soldiers. You know, looking at her eyes and hair, I wonder if Roland is an ancestor of the Sheriacs. If Valkyries are on par or stronger with our Star Whisperers and specialize in dealing with Honkai beasts, then please let me introduce you to the chairwoman of the Republic and the commander of the fortress. I beg of you. I don't mind paying them a visit, so please stand up. I can tell how important this is to you. Oh, back in the submarine. Well, once you come aboard my ship, you're already a friend. Please tell me the coordinates of our destination. Thanks. The coordinates are 1.5 degrees west longitude and 47.5 degrees south latitude. .5 degrees? Isn't it supposed to be South America? Are you sure it isn't 71.5 degrees? No, I'm sure it's 1.5 degrees. That's strange. There's no land on those coordinates. It's the middle of the ocean. I see. Excuse me, Roland-san, but which prime meridian do you use? Okay, so they use a different one. Which? Isn't the only one the line that passes through the city of Cusco? Huh? It appears the latitude and longitude system of her country is different than ours, Captain. Didn't expect that. Never heard of a system that didn't use Greenwich as its prime meridian. Whoa! I accidentally hit the options button. I wish some of these were translated, but oh well. Hahaha, I don't know where this Greenwich place is. Now that we know what's the problem, we can solve it easily. Are you there, Alice? Please calculate 1.5 degrees west of Cusco to our system. Understood. Based on data from the Great Library, your destination is at 73.5 degrees west longitude. Wow, is this a video call? In the Republic, only the most important people can do them. Awesome, isn't it? Yes, it's the first time I see one being used outside the fortress. You guys are the best reinforcements we could ask for. Major General Roland. That's enough flattery. Haha, I'm sorry. Wait, Chief Honorati, why are you in contact with them? I see. So, there's more people related. What do you mean? What, you two know each other? Roland, please tell them my position in the Republic. Yes. Buonorati is the chief of the Republic's Technology Intelligence Agency. She makes her way into many research facilities around the world and brings their technology to your country. Basically, you're a spy. Thank you for your praise, Atagina. The Great Library, Alexandria's Harbor, the rocket launch site at the Pyramid. Those places are second to none in the world. I need to take advantage of them for the sake of the world. But you're the mayor now. Don't you have a duty to serve your people first and foremost? The public's safety is in my best interest. As you know, a world at war with the Honkai Empire is far from safe. Besides, President Shelley is here to keep an eye on me. He doesn't seem too eager to be doing it. That's right. That said, I didn't expect that secret to come out right now. If you're still in a position of power, have your wires crossed. How can you reveal something like that so casually? As soon as that wall is out of the way, I'll have you resign immediately. Regardless of your motives, what you're doing is against the law. Fine by me. When the time comes, I'll step down myself and leave Alexandria for good. I trust you have no objections. Come on, Shelley has it hard enough already. Don't make things worse for her. Anyway, Chief, this means the actions of the Caledonia are being monitored by the Republic, correct? If the chairman and me are in a position to represent the Republic, then the answer is yes. I'm aware of all your actions. I can assure you that we've taken the necessary steps to ensure no one else knows about you. Also, Major General Roland didn't come in contact with you under any orders. Treat her kindly, would you? As if I could be mean to a cute girl like Roland. Anyhow, now that you're here, might as well get you to explain a few things. What exactly is the Huaca Tunnel? Does it really go through the Earth? How? Yes, it does. As for the how, before I get to that, we need to discuss the spherical Earth theory first. Unexpected? Intuitively, we have enough ways to prove the Earth is not flat. Navigators of old came up with the idea of a celestial sphere by looking at the difference between the stars at the north and south, and based on the parallel relation between the sky. However, this reasoning isn't very tight, because not flat doesn't mean it's a sphere. People who lived during the Age of Discovery knew two things: the stars are spinning, and the sky and the ground are parallel to each other. From the former one can deduce there is a relative movement between the sky and the ground. But the latter doesn't prove the sky and ground have the same structure. The reason for that is very simple. They haven't traveled around the whole world yet. Everyone thought the Earth had a simple structure, but it's possible there might have been places navigators can't reach where the Earth is folded or bent. The stars at night also might not be an accurate measure of latitude and longitude, due to the fierce waves on the sea. It's a ridiculous idea. I mean, would it even be possible for a naturally formed Earth to have such complex structure? A sphere is the most stable structure, after all. That's wrong, Captain. What the Chief is probably trying to say is, the world we live in right now is not necessarily a natural formation. The look on Shakespeare's face is so good. Professor Schrödinger is right, Captain Shakespeare. This world was originally made in the opposite direction of the ether anchor. It's an artificial construct. Let's remember how a world map is made. The world is large, so different cartographers were put in charge of different sectors, and of course, from a ground perspective, the surface is not flat. Which means those people needed to establish clear rules. If the sectors drawn by two different cartographers overlap, the parts in common must be drawn under the same rules. And then, when all pieces are put together, they become a map. Now try to imagine the world we live in as that map. The immense waves on the sea are the edges of that paper, and the high-speed currents you guys take advantage of are its fibers. Or perhaps it would be better to call them a wormhole. The Huaca Tunnel is a suture that goes through the center of the Earth, acting as the glue and spine of a book. Thus, strictly speaking, Rather than the Huaca tunnel goes through the earth, it would be correct to say the earth is being held together by the Huaca tunnel. Also, both the so-called spine and pages of this book were a product of someone's will. I have a question. Speak. Creating a world from nothing inside the Sea of Quanto would require an immeasurable amount of energy. Even if somehow the unnecessary parts are folded, it would still require vast amounts of energy. I'd like to know who made this possible and what were they after. To be honest, I can only guess what their motives were. However, I can at least be sure that someone is thanks to the records found in the Great Library. Oh, I can be sure who that someone is. Asatella Bahidalaki Juri Kavina. For once, it's not something weird backwards. Perhaps you know that these esoteric words mean, Professor Schrödinger? Oh, and she's gonna speak the ancient tongue. I wish we could understand how that sounds, but that's the language of the previous era. Could it mean... Yes, I see you're familiar with their language as well. Yes, I had a few encounters with it in the past. What are you talking about? Is it some sort of code? You're not entirely wrong. The closest words in our language make for a very poetic name. The Moonlight Throne, Selene. Judging from your reaction, it seems you know about it, Rita. Mind telling us what you know? As far as I know, the Selene is an anti-Honkai weapon of mass destruction, and the main weapon of the mobile combat weapon, Arahato. Oh wait, isn't this before Arhat was finished? So Schrödinger might not know this. Which is under the control of the enforcers named Tesla and Einstein. I see, so that's the story Shixel is telling. Anti-entropy and Arahato. They sure came up with a bunch of cool names. That said, Enforcer is pretty lame. Must have been Einstein's idea. Sounds like something that Big Oaf would come up with. It's nothing, I was just reminiscing about the past. Let's get back on track. Strictly speaking, the Selene is not a weapon. It is just an energy conversion device that turns Honkai energy into regular energy that can be manipulated. The previous civilization managed to create such technology, but by then it was already too late. Had they managed to keep the pace of development for 10 more years, the mass-produced Selene should have been able to absorb Honkai energy on a worldwide scale. The one called previous era tongue that we're not allowed to know what it sounds like was a prototype made 50,000 years ago. Then tell me, Mayor or Chief, what relation does Selene have with the Huaca Tunnel? Huaca Tunnel is just an alias. In the civilization we spoke of previously, it was called Itera Jutashi, which means ether anchor in our language. Then that tunnel that goes through the earth is the ether anchor itself. Correct. It seems that the previous civilization had technology capable of making a microcosm. According to my sources, the birth of this world was made possible thanks to an artificial expansion caused by the ether anchor, and that is also the fundamental reason as to why this world is stuck in the state of universe. That crucial energy source came from a prototype of similar nature to the Selene. That used to be the case at first, yes. After the stream of the membrane stabilized around the ether anchor, it began to grow by absorbing the Honkai energy that universes nearby leaked. The pyramids, the shape of the continents, the starry night sky, that's how all of it was born. Wait, doesn't that mean its real purpose wasn't to make small universes, but rather, it's a way to transform Honkai energy? Could it be its true purpose was to exist as a space waste treatment plant? That's probably the case. That said, the volume of this world is significantly smaller than the volume of the original world. Genshin creation lore was an adventure all along. It's interesting seeing this. I don't know if if the ether anchor is specifically something the previous era created, or if it is, because we've heard that the ether anchor was like the nub. It was something that used to be connected to the imaginary tree. Like if a world broke off the imaginary tree, the point where it was connected is the ether anchor. And that's why ether anchors are technically still a good source of power. Maybe it's still somehow connected to the tree. But it's interesting, because it would make sense that someone was trying to create a world that could get rid of Honkai. Maybe if I explain it like this, it'll be easier to understand. Upon activation, if one were to rank the Honkai energy used by the ether anchor to build a microcosm, you would get similar amounts to the energy levels of the first Herrscher or second Herrscher possessed. I see, but in terms of scale, the Honkai energy later Herrscher are able to manipulate is far higher than that. Indeed, I suspect this project was a failure for them. That failure gave us this strange, beautiful world, and at the same time it planted the seeds of calamity. It does sound like this could have been part of Project Stigma or something similar when they were trying to connect with imaginary space. And the one who would bring that calamity forth is probably the Emperor the legends speak of, Napoleon. However, more often than not, reality is far different from legends. Explain them what we know about our enemy, Roland. A never-ending war has taken place in this world since the day the Republic was founded. We have our own technology and Star Whisperers, while the enemy has Honkai beasts and excellent battle tactics. They're able to swiftly assemble hundreds if not thousands of Honkai beasts, discern their target, and carry out their attack. And every time we develop a new weapon, it doesn't take long for the enemy to catch up and come up with countermeasures. Wait, does that mean the baptism? The three principles? Does it still exist in the Honkai beasts? Are they able to control the Honkai beasts because of the genetic manipulation? All we can do is defend the fortress. At the very least, the country will be safe as long as the Huaca Tunnel is in our control, but if it were to fall into enemy hands, they'll be able to spread out and take over the world. We once considered negotiating with the enemy, but we encountered a big problem. We don't even know the name of the enemy country or who its leader is. All we know for sure is there's a mastermind behind the Honkai beast. We've also sent exploration teams composed of Star Whisperers. However, even when they stepped 1,000 leagues into enemy territory, they couldn't find anyone to talk to. The Honkai beast that attacked our fortress came from beyond the walls, so we suspect the enemy's headquarters must certainly lie beyond the energy walls. I can't believe it. If Napoleon has become a monster as well, then anything can happen. There's a very high chance he's gone mad. May I ask you something, Miss Roland? Huh? You don't need to be so formal. What did you want to ask? Don't mind that. She's like that with everyone. I love how everyone gets triggered by it. It might seem a little creepy at first, but she doesn't mean anything bad by it. What were you going to ask, Rita? Regarding a certain term you used. That's a good question. I've been wondering that too. Roland, what is a star whisperer? You don't know? Let's see, in simpler terms, it's someone like you and me who came from another world and have innate resistance to Honkai energy. And how come Dudu knows who you are, but you don't recognize it? Isn't that weird? It's probably because I have no memories of my life before I came to this world. I think whatever experiences I had in another world have nothing to do with my current self. People can't change the past, nor experience the future, because we're all living in the present. Was I too serious? Well, once everything is over, I might try to find out what that Roland Furioso was like. But right now, as a soldier of the Republic, I think it's better if I don't know. Sorry, I'm not good with this Clockwork Orange-like talk. That's a reference. Very random one. Amid the awkward mood, noise began to be heard during the communication. That noise gradually increased until the video call was cut off. That event serves as proof the Caledonia deep diving to a place where radio signals can't reach it anymore. Roland inspected the submarine's equipment with great interest and enjoyed Rita's cooking. Then, perhaps out of concern for Dudu, began to share funny jokes from the Republic. She didn't seem to mind her memory loss and embraced her new life in this world. When she thought about it, Bianka felt slightly envious of her. The next day. Wow, so this is South America. It reminds me of the Alps. Not surprising. We're 47 degrees south, almost the same latitude as Zurich. It's so cold. I should have brought a jacket. Jeez, would it kill you to be more sentimental? The entrance to the Huaca Tunnel is on the valley past that canyon, but before we go, do you mind if we make a quick stop here? The soldier took off her armor in front of the stone monument. The wildflowers of the early autumn gradually took the form of a wreath in her hands. We wanderers, ever seeking the lonelier way, begin no day where we have ended another day, and no sunrise finds us where sunset left us. Even while the earth sleeps, we travel. At least some tiny bits are in English, so I can see that. We are the seeds of the tenacious plant, and it is our ripeness, our fullness of heart, that we are given to the wind and are scattered. I hate to do this. I hate it. That's a really, really good stopping point. It's a cliffhanger, but nothing major happened. We just know roughly where we're going. We had huge reveals. I feel like I just have this sense that if I do the next chapter, I'm not going to want to stop. I feel like the next one is going to be big. So I think I might stop it there. You'll get a sneak preview of the first page. Oh, no, it's still Still just her there. But yeah, let's see if I can find out what chapter that was. How many did we get through today? Well, Angry Rita. Why doesn't it let me preview that one? That's weird. Them searching. Them finding Roland. Apparently we did a lot more chapters than I thought we did today. Okay, so this is where we ended. We ended the end of chapter 20. 14 through 20, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I think there was 32 chapters to this, so we still have 12 to go. So that's... I'm going to assume that's going to be 2 streams, unless these get a little faster and shorter. Which they might. I know that happened with the anti-entropy one. The first sets of chapters were much longer and had a lot more bulk to them for lore and just hanging out, getting to know the characters. We're kind of getting to the big point of the story. Although we haven't finished getting all the gems. Are they just gonna say, oh, tell us where they are, the Republic's gonna go find us the gems? Maybe they already collected them, who knows? But I guess we'll find out. I'm excited for this story more, though. I'm gonna be really sad when it's done. It's so good. Honestly, I like the visual novels more than the manga. The manga are really good, don't get me wrong. I like manga, but this is just a much more structured way to go through a story. And because of how it's done, they can fit more words into the dialogue. Because you can use the same picture for like 20 lines of dialogue, whereas a manga, almost every line of dialogue needs its own art. And so they have to cut them short. But I've really been enjoying these, and it actually almost makes me want to look for other visual novels, not just Honkai ones, to look into. Although a lot of visual novels tend to be like romance stories and stuff like that, and I don't know if I really want to read that on stream. But who knows? Maybe you can find out some good stories, and maybe they'll have decisions to make, so it'll be a bit more interesting. But we'll see. I'm really, really enjoying this. But as I said earlier, I was actually about to type my commands. Nightbot isn't in here. That's on Twitch. I'm getting too used to Twitch. But as I said earlier, I do have a Twitter and Discord. Both of them are linked down below. It's where I announce all my streams and try and keep up with people. My Twitter use is all over the place. Sometimes I use it for more, sometimes I only use it when I'm announcing streams. I do post schedules on both my Twitter and Discord, so people who want to know ahead of time. I do post schedules every Sunday, sometimes Monday if I'm taking Monday off. But I post a schedule for the week, every week. Just to see, just so everyone can know what's coming. And yeah, other than that, we hang out, chat, bicker a little bit about random disagreements. That's part of the fun. I like talking and hanging out. Oh my gosh, Arsham. I'm not reading that on stream. Could you imagine me streaming something like that and the whole screen is just blurred? It's just me with a blur behind me. I know a plugin I could do that, but I'm not gonna do it. But other than that, we also have my Twitch. Twitch is basically going to become my main streaming platform. Once I finish this visual novel, probably. Maybe I'll find some that I enjoy doing on YouTube, or maybe if YouTube grows more, I'll find short things that I can stream just on YouTube. But it's so much easier for me to do a long 8-hour stream on Twitch, and then I can just cut it up and post it to YouTube, than it is for me to do a short stream a day on YouTube, and then I don't have enough time to get everything done. It's also just more fun to hang out with everyone on Twitch. On YouTube, I feel obligated to focus on the content and get through the story, right? I don't want to talk to people in chat too much because there could be people lurking, watching that just want me to read the story. So I'm gonna do more hanging out and stuff on Twitch. So next Monday, I'm gonna be doing the Punishing Grey Raven story, the new chapter from Punishing Grey Raven. That will be on Twitch, not on YouTube. The only YouTube stream next week will be next Friday when we continue this from chapter 21. The VOD for us doing the story from PGR will be on the YouTube channel probably Wednesday morning, because it has to have at least 24 hours after the end on Twitch only. Just Twitch's rules because I'm an affiliate. But we'll try and make it work, and hopefully people enjoy it and people can watch the VODs if they don't like Twitch. They need to catch up. I'll try to add chapters to stuff when I can too, just so it's easier to navigate. That takes a lot of time though. But yeah, enough rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you guys. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.